Record there.
Nice.
Hey, Professor. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Dick? Good. How are you?
Man? I'm good. How was your week?
That's good. Busy. Busy. What about you?
Mine was busy too. Like for pandemic, I've been extra busy. I've been like regular busy during the pandemic. Like pandemic busy means that you got up. That's pretty much it.
Right.
But recently I've been like going places and doing things. So it's been crazy. It's the first time I've been going places and doing things for a while.
Yep, I hear you. I totally
Did you go anywhere?
hear you. Yeah. I did. I went to Arkansas, which is the next state over. And we went to a couple art museums and we had fun, me and the girlfriend. It was nice getting out without the kids. And yeah.
That sounds nice.
If you guys see my TikTok, it's all over the place on there. But you guys don't because they all only have like 25 views. So we're good. Yeah.
I haven't been on TikTok all week. Took the whole week off. It's weird. It's weird not going on TikTok. So it was funny too. I was like, you know what? I'll create a TikTok while we're doing the show. I was like, I'll just do one.
That's cool. You know what we should do? We should make a 15-second ad for the 27th.
Excellent. I like that idea.
And then we'll start. We'll do that. Then we'll do the intro, and we have a full show. I don't care.
I
it
went
sounded
on
like
TikTok.
pancakes.
What a mistake.
Or something.
What a mistake.
And maybe that's what she said.
Exactly.
That was the TikTok mistake.
Mistake. On the 27th, live on Twitch. What are we doing, Professor?
We are going to live stream the Night of the Living Dead. And we're not just going to live stream it. We are going to be dressed up in Halloween costumes.
We are?
And who's going to be our guest?
I think
because we're not doing this alone.
We're going to have Shield Maiden, and we're going to have Rex.
Yes.
And we might have a third guest. We'll see.
Oh, you guys got to tune in.
Go
to Twitch and look up TP Show Live.
TP Show Live on Twitch.
Yep. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Coming at you.
27th. Yes.
That's exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah. Cut that together, and then I'll post it as well. That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
So before we hit the intro, let's we did the plug. Oh, we plugged in? No. These are the new rules. Are we plugged in?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes. You need to be plugged in.
We're plugged in.
Not just talking about plugs. You need to physically plug in your stuff to the outlets so that you can have power.
And this week, I am using a Raspberry Pi version 1. I mean, this is Raspberry Pi B, came out early. I tried my other one earlier today, and my Pi 4. You'll find this funny. I was like, maybe it's overheating. So I'm not sure if you can see it. I'll get it closer to the camera. I have put at least 4 heat sinks on it, and it's still crapped out. It just crapped out.
Oh, no.
I think what it is, it's running a bunch of server stuff, and I'm trying to make it doing something really simple. Just show an image on the screen. And it's no, I'm not going to do that. And so...
Yeah, how dare you want me to only do half my job?
Exactly. Like, what the heck, man? I'm super powerful, and you're making me do nothing. So I'm not going to work.
Right?
It's like it's a union. It's like a union art. It's a union pie. It's like I can't work unless I'm doing one thing. And you've got me doing more than one. So it ain't happening. And then I have a Pi Zero. And on the connectors on Pi Zeros for the camera, it's a smaller one. And I snapped it off.
Okay.
And so when I put the cable in, it's not seating properly. And I'm like,
gotcha.
Oh, what should I do? And I'm like, I have like 1 million Raspberry Pis. So I went back to the really old Raspberry Pis I have. Like old. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up a...
Yeah, you're good.
Here's the exact version I used I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, yeah.
it is ancient. It's got a composite connector on it.
Mm.
It doesn't even have 40 GPIO pins.
Oh,
It's an antique. The good thing though is
yeah.
it has a full size HDMI, so it was
Well, that's
easy to
cool.
connect
Yeah.
to the egg cooker. And as always, since I'm using the egg cooker, I have a backup because,
Cool.
as you know, they've crapped out before in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
But I really dig this camera. I like the way this
Yeah, I like
looks
it.
better than the GoPro. So,
I do too.
and that's the deal. That's my Raspberry Pi experience today. Are we on the proper week for names? Yes. I renamed all the files. So,
Okay.
week 9, everybody. We're on week 9. Hello, Pixel.
We're on week 9.
Give me 1 second. The dog decided to come say
You're
hi.
good. That's cool. Hi, Pixel.
He does not like being on screen. So I suspect I will hold him for about 7 seconds. He'll figure out what's going on, and he'll be like,
And then he'll be like, nope.
Out of here. Yeah, his heart's starting to beat faster. He's like, nope.
Oh, no.
He can see
He's
himself,
like, no,
like right here, like right down in front of him.
Yep.
And then he sees all the lights, and he's like, what's going on? Please watch our show. My dog says so. Please.
Yep.
Okay, Pix, run.
Nice.
Go. Scoot. I'm sure he'll be back. And
yeah, I'm surprised my dog hasn't hobbled down here. So
isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the broken leg dog doing?
Good. Yeah, he's really good. He's back to humping the girlfriend's dog, which he shouldn't. Yeah.
Is the cast off, or is the cast still on?
Completely, completely off. He's back to normal.
It's so funny.
He's just an old horny man now. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our dog was neutered early, but he's got a Napoleon complex, big time. He always wants to take on Rottweilers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw how small he is. He's tiny.
Yeah. Hank's like that. So.
He has a real problem with miniature Doberman pinchers too, because he was in a kennel with a bunch of miniature Doberman pinchers and him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he just doesn't like any of them at all. So he freaks out all the time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend you're all bad. So
yes,
rough.
Makes it easier. Hey, he's back again. Yeah, maybe he'll fall asleep at my legs. We're on the proper week for names. And then, how was the weather?
The weather today, the high of 45 today, which sucked because I'm from California, where 65 your parka and your gloves and your maybe 2 pairs of pants. So,
well, it's funny because whenever I would be near Disneyland, you could tell the people from like foreign countries. It'd be 60-ish. Like for California, anybody that doesn't know, especially Southern California, 60 degrees is like 20 anywhere else.
Right.
People are walking around with sweaters and like you said, parkas and long pants. Some of them even wear boots, which doesn't make sense. Like you're not going to get snow at 60, which is the whole point to the boots.
But
and we
you know what's weird? If I went to California and it was 60, I would be in shorts and a shirt.
And that's what I was about to say. So you can tell the people, especially from Scandinavia, they are hilarious. First of all, they're blonde hair and blue-eyed, so you can see them a mile away. They have like super small t-shirts and shorts and flip-flops, and they're looking at everybody else like, what's going on with these people? Because they're used to real cold weather, not the ridiculous that is Southern California. Oh, 76 and sunny. I figure I should tell you what our weather is, but it's the same every day. Every day, 76 and sunny. I never tell anybody the weather, just for fear that they're going to kill me. But we are moving. Well, so
you do have those like summers that are like 120, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yes,
but you're by the water, so.
And that's what I was about to say. That's an inland thing. So if we were in the valley, or if we were in Anaheim, inland. It gets to $110, and it's legit. Yeah, it's hot. And then there's also deserts.
Oh yeah, I remember like the glue from the inside of my windshield just like dripping down on me one day, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm in California. What the hell? Why is this happening? And it's just that hot.
Well, it's funny that you should bring that up. One of the big things in the contact juggling community, my like flow art community, is clears. They're big. Everybody uses them. The problem is they're magnifying glasses, so you can't leave them on things. A lot of people will leave them in their back seat. The sun will hit them, and it'll burn a hole in their seat. Like there's a rumor. There's a rumor that somebody burnt their car down to the ground because the sun came through, hit the plastic ball, went through there, went into the back seat, and then burned a hole into the gas tank, and the car blew up. Now that's urban legend, but I do know for a fact, I have 4 friends that have a round, basically a clear acrylic with half of it. It looks... Have you ever seen caramel when it goes too far? Like you just leave it on too much? That's what it looks like. Right. It's like brown and black and like bubbly. And then the thing underneath of it, like one person was a chair, one was a car seat, has big black hole right through it. Oh. So I totally understand what you're talking about. Oh, and when I was a kid, my parents were nice enough to get me the 64 box of crayons. Everybody knows what the 64 box is, right? Yep. Back in the day, though, it came in a plastic container. So they put the crayons inside like cardboard, and then they put it inside the plastic container. We left it in the windowsill of the back of the car, and it melted together. It was a crayon. It was the one crayon, and it had one color, and it wasn't pretty at all. So, that's our heat stories for autumn. Cool. You have leaves, though. Yeah. That's the thing that I missed. I missed the changing of the leaves. Yeah. You don't get that here.
Yeah. No. Like I said, I think last week, your palm trees don't turn brown.
Right. That's about it. And palm trees, I found out, again, from my partner, they're not native. Some idiot brought them in. Actually, I shouldn't say it was an idiot, because I think it was Bob Hope. So they brought a palm tree to America, and they lined streets with it. You've seen it before, tons of times in Hollywood and stuff. But they lined the streets with them. If you have a palm tree near you, you have mini palm trees everywhere. They're a big weed. Everywhere. Big time. Yeah. And so that's basically what happened, in my opinion. That's how they got so many palm trees in California. Do you have any other stuff in the general category before we hit the show opening?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, and again this week. Oh, give me 1 second. We're using Xbox controller, same as last week. Yes. Nothing too fancy. And the show.
Hold on to your butts, you're in for an experience like no other. You are about to partake in the most bodacious experience ever, the Tick and Professor Show.
That's us.
That is us.
She does that.
Show. Right, show.
I still haven't seen the end of 5. You told me last week to watch it, and I got busy. So
you need to watch the end of 5.
I know. Yeah. I'm super mad I haven't gotten to see it because you're like, watch it.
We can watch it right now. I don't care.
No. Don't waste
it's just the last like 10 seconds. Yeah.
It's the last 10 seconds, you said?
Yeah.
Cool. No, we're not. I'm excited to see it. Besides which, if you haven't seen Show 5, like me, go check it out. We had a special guest. Yeah. It's actually a really good show. I enjoyed it.
Awesome, yeah. That was one of my favorites so far.
Excellent.
And I enjoyed the Rex show, and nothing bad about Rex because she's awesome. She's one of my favorite people.
I agree.
Just the audio on that show.
Glitchy. Glitchy. I did try to remix it, but didn't help. I mean, it was still bad.
Right. Right. Yeah. When we see her on the 27th, I'll be like, oh, sorry about the audio. I'm glad you're wearing headphones now.
Exactly. Exactly. So I needed to lead the show off with an update. Last week, not that anybody's seen last week yet, I said that Sega worked with Sony, and I had it wrong. So Sega had a CD, the Sega CD.
They did have a CD, yeah.
Yeah, and
there was an awesome...
Yes. Tower of Power is what a lot of people used to call it.
I played a Sherlock Holmes game on it, and it blew my mind because that was the first game where it talked to me. Like the voices were there. Yeah. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing.
For the kids at home, during that time frame, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. There wasn't enough memory on a cartridge to do much of anything, specifically audio. That's why all the audio has a very specific 8-bit sound, because they could do sounds. They could do like 4 or 5 different sounds at the same time, and then they could do notes in that scale, and it wouldn't take up much space. And that's how they would do all the music. But with words and video, no, that couldn't work. Yeah. And that's where the CDs came in. It gave the ability to do what's considered really crappy video now, but at the time it was cutting edge. Yeah,
it was great.
And then the audio could be real deal CD quality. So you went from trash can audio, because the audio on older systems is 8-bit, and it's like, it was horrible.
Sega.
Exactly. Sega.
Yeah, that was it.
Yep. So I said that Sega worked with Sony, and I was wrong. It was actually Nintendo. So Nintendo and Sony partnered up. The thing is, as they got closer to release, Nintendo decided not to release the CD. But Sony had all the technology to do something, meaning they had to build a CD player that worked with a game system and did all that stuff. And as we know, that's where the PlayStation 1 came from. And this is all from a book and a movie called Console Wars, actually TV show. And Console Wars right now you can see, I think, on Amazon Prime. That's where I saw it. It might have been on CBS All Access. Actually, it might be a CBS show. But that's the correction I needed to make. And the reason, to be quite honest, that I get that wrong all the time is because I had a CD TV and a CD32, which is an Amiga by Commodore. I liked Amigas. Oh. Not that anybody's really ever heard of them. But 9 out of 10 video game companies that went into PlayStation and went Sega were from the Amiga. So in the UK, they had tons of big name game studios. And the problem was, on the Amiga, everybody would hack the games. So you'd sell 2 games instead of 2,000. So the market itself just ate itself, and it went right into the crapper. And Commodore sucked. They were the worst. The owner or the president of Commodore overreached with the Commodore 64. So like one Christmas, Commodore 64 was the largest selling computer of all time. And in that dude's head, the next year they're going to sell even more. And so they made more, and they didn't need to. And it ruined the company, just straight up. Company went bankrupt. I went to the bankruptcy, which was interesting. Nobody bought them at the time. Then SCOM bought them. Then SCOM went bankrupt. Then Gateway bought them. Then Gateway went bankrupt. It was like anybody that touched Amiga went bankrupt. And the original company was called the Amiga Corporation, and they sold to Commodore. Their options were Atari, Commodore, and it wasn't Apple. There was a third company I think they could have sold to. But at the time, Atari had an Atari 400, and Apple, of course, had the Apple II and the Apple IIc. This is before the Macintosh. and then the Macintosh was just about to come out, or just came out when the Amiga came out. And the cool thing about the Amiga is it was the first 32-bit true multitasking operating system. So it was like Sega was a 16-bit game system, and the Amiga was 32-bit. And there's a lot of other things that the Amiga was on the cutting edge. Specifically video production, believe it or not. But we could go on all day. I love the Amiga, but it's gone. And so now I have a new obsession, Raspberry Pi. So true. Yeah. Now, what about you? Do you have like an obsession with collecting Pogs? Do you even know what Pogs are?
I do know what Pogs are. I still have them somewhere in Slammers. Yep.
Slammers are the best. In fact, that's my secret ninja weapon. Don't tell anybody. Have you? Like, seriously. We'll have to bring some Pogs out. I don't even know where mine are anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, there's somewhere.
The Slammers? How would you describe a Slammer?
A round, flat, circle object that is heavy to flip over other round, circle objects that are made of paper.
I like that. For anybody who's listening, take a silver dollar and make it like 3 or 4 times heavier and give it to a 7-year-old and tell him to throw it at the ground. That's pretty much what the game was all about. And those things, like, nobody's really going to stop you for carrying something like that. But I'm telling you, take that and you chuck that at somebody. Not that I've ever done it, but I've seen people try. Other people dodging.
Right. And I don't know why those like just came and like went so fast, but I had so many of them.
They did. They were maybe 2 years total. I mean, they were in and out and gone.
Yeah. Because I remember the local comic book store would carry like a whole bunch of them. And then I would get the kind that had like the 2 finger grips on it so I can go pop.
Yep. It's got like on the top, you put your 2 fingers and then you can throw them down.
Yes. I was good at it too. Yeah. No one would play with me. Yeah. They're like, you're just going to take all mine.
Exactly.
I'm like,
now, do you collect anything now? Like, do you have a card collection or Magic the Gathering?
No, no, not really. I mean, I used to buy video games, but now I just do the Xbox Game Pass. So I just pay for it and I get games online. And
And we said last week, I tried Stadia. I'm going to cancel that.
I would too.
It's not their fault. It's me. I can't. I'm old. The controller confuses me. It's this controller. I mean, this is a legit Xbox controller. It's just so hard to do certain things in most games these days. I mean, I'm sure kids are laughing at me right now, the same way that I used to laugh at people when they tried to play the Atari 2600, especially like Pitfall.
Yeah. Oh, Pitfall, yeah.
Loved Pitfall. That was one of my favorite games. That, and there was an Activision game. Forget the name of it, though. Mega. The thing that I always remember about it was it had like flying hamburgers on the screen, and you had to shoot them. But that game was hard. Really hard. And again, 2600 hard. I think as new systems come out, new controllers come out, games just exponentially jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what's weird about, like, if we're going and we're saying games are so advanced, what's the deal with Minecraft? Why do they look like they're a NES game? Like, why?
Well, I think a different way to say the same thing is, why the hell did it become so popular? And
I mean, I like it. I'll play it with my kids. Yeah.
I love it.
It's so basic.
I love Minecraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like survival mode. Survival mode
I don't either.
Creeps me out. Like that first night, surviving that first night, I just get twitchy. That's the way it is. After the first night, you're fine. Like you can build a big enough house or whatever. But yeah, that first night.
I don't get how you make certain things. And my son will be like, you just need this, and this. And then look, you have an axe. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
yes.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, this, and this, and now it's enchanted. I'm like, what did you just do? Huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to build.
Yeah. How did you make that? How did you figure that out? The thing I find amazing about Minecraft is the things that people create with Minecraft that were never really ever supposed to be made with Minecraft. Like somebody made a legit... God.
He can look at a photograph of like a cartoon character, and then he'll build that on Minecraft. And it looks just like it. You have to like zoom out and fly really far, and then he's like, "Look, there it is." And I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, that's it." Yeah.
No,
you did
it. That I believe that actually makes a lot of sense compared to what I think I'm going to say when you hear what I say. Somebody built a legit computer. Like old school, like the 1950s, 1960s flip style computers inside Minecraft, and it worked. Like it could compute numbers and stuff. It was huge. It was huge.
I get it. Because my daughter can make like cars, and I'm like, how did you do that? And she's like, I put this redstone on this and this and this and this, and and then she pushes a lever and it moves. I'm like,
and it goes.
What did you do?
How did that happen? Ooh. No, I agree. I agree. And that's the thing. Minecraft went from being Legos, because that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of electronic Legos, to way, way, way beyond Legos. I mean, even Lego Storm doesn't seem like it gives a good enough definition of how wide Minecraft's gone.
So, I agree.
But you're right.
Yeah,
it's really basic, like really basic.
Oh my god! When I first started, I'm like, kids, I'm so sorry. Like, I could only play about a half an hour of this, and then I get a headache. Like, I can't. Because the graphics are crazy. I'm used to it now, but when it first started, and if we would play split screen, I would have to go this way and not this way. Yeah,
I get that. Well, for me, one of the things that I see is that games are diverging. You have the indie game, which really focuses on your experience. And then you have high budget, big action games, which they don't really care if you like it or not. They made it pretty. Yeah. They made it do what they wanted to do. They had high-end actors. If you don't like it, it's your fault. And I go back and forth. Like, I'd rather have an indie game that's fun to play than a high-end shooter that, like PUBG we talked about last time. PUBG annoys me.
I'm getting there, because like I went to Five Below the other day. They had I love that store. They had a Call of Duty game. It was $5. I'm like, I'm getting it.
It's Five Below.
And then the only thing good on it is the versus mode, because I can play with my son and be like, finally a game that you're not going to put up a wall.
Right.
And I can actually like play with you, because I don't know Fortnite. Like I shoot you, and by the time my bullet gets to you, you already have a wall. Like I don't.
No, I get it. We were talking about that before too. The professionals on Fortnite, I don't even understand what they're doing. Like I legitimately don't understand. It's almost like people that can't follow the hockey puck. Like there's people that are like, I can't watch hockey because I can't follow the hockey puck. Now I grew up with the Flyers during the time when they were the Broad Street bullies, basically, but brawlers. There's a specific name. I always get it wrong. But in the early 70s, 73, 74, they won the Stanley Cup. And they used to just beat the crap out of people. Just, that was their thing. But the reason I bring it up, I've always been able to find the puck. And so when people are like, I can't see it, I don't know where it is, I'm like, I don't even understand what you're saying. Jump forward to me watching Fortnite and kids looking at me going, dude, it's so easy. Can't you tell?
I don't.
There's a guy hiding.
I don't get it, because he'll watch some of these people playing it on YouTube, and I can only watch about maybe 5 minutes of it, and I'm getting dizzy just watching them play. And I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know if it's my age. I don't know what it is. But if I was actually playing the game, I wouldn't get that dizzy. But if I'm watching it, Nope. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't watch you play.
I totally get it. Now, all of our news is always stale because it's going to take several weeks for this to come out.
Oh,
but I'm still going to bring it up.
Do it.
I have a Raspberry Pi addiction. I haven't bought any in a long time. But this week, yesterday, actually, the Compute Module 4 came out. And it has 32 variations you can buy of the one Raspberry Pi. I just couldn't believe the number of variations. It made me laugh.
You know, someone's going to listen to that and be like, he's very thin for liking Raspberry Pi as much as he does.
I know. Eating it all the time. All the time. So funny. So for anybody out there that follows the Raspberry Pi, I'll just finish up the technical crap about it. It's got a different form factor because it's faster, has more ins and outs, and the development board, they dropped the price of it. So it's only $35. So you could buy from $25 to $90, depending on if you want Wi-Fi, you want a 4 gig, an 8 gig, you want memory on board, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then you just jam it into the dev board. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because the only reason I ever bought a Raspberry Pi in the first place, besides the fact that they were small and cool, was to do cameras. That's why we're using a Raspberry Pi camera. Yeah. And you can do stereo with the dev board. You can't do that with a regular Pi because they don't let you get to both of the camera ports. That's where the compute module comes in.
It's just mono. Yeah.
Yes. But that's the deal. That's all I had for now.
Like, what's going on? What? I don't even know what they're talking about. Mono, stereo. I don't know. Dev board. Someone out there is going.
Yeah. And why are they? Who are they kissing? What's the deal?
Right?
Have you ever gotten mono?
Yeah.
Speaking of it,
no, but I've seen people at like in high school where they would be like, "Oh, you just made out with her, and she has like all these sores. You're gonna get."
That's
mono.
Not a good idea.
And they're like, "No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm like,
I got mono in college. It was not good. It was not good at all.
Did you
took
share
too
a
many
drink?
classes. I was working too much, and then I was just done. I went to the doctor. He's like, "You got mono," and I was asleep for like a week. It's really crazy.
Ooh.
And funny enough, it was like the 8th week of college.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Where are you going, puppy? Coming back? It was the 8th week of college, and my logic and knowledge professor was like, "You're gonna have to take the whole class over again." My eyes went. It's not that I didn't want to take the class again. It was super easy. Right. My mom is the prime example of why logic and knowledge class is no fun. You either get it or you don't.
Yep. And
that's it. It's that simple. So the teacher's like, A plus B equals C. Everybody gets it, right? My mom would be like, I don't get it. Okay, we'll go over it again. A plus B equals C. Got it? I still don't get it. Rinse, repeat every week for 8 weeks.
Right.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like, A plus B equals C. Move on. Next. Let's go. So there's always people in your class that didn't get logic and knowledge. Just didn't get it. And he was going to make me do 8 weeks with more people that didn't get it. And I was like, no, not doing it. Not doing it. Went to the nuns, said, listen, we got to figure this out. I'll just take the final. If I fail the final, I'll take the class over. If I get a good grade, then we'll stick with that. And luckily, the nuns were awesome. And they were like, yes, you can do that. Because he was what was called a lay teacher. Lay teachers are not priests or nuns at Catholic schools.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't know that. Yeah. I
didn't
know any of this until I went to Catholic college. Because I didn't go to Catholic high school. I went to a public school. Just like you.
Yeah.
Or at least I think you went to public school. You didn't go to boarding school, did you? Give you the eye.
No.
Oh, that's so funny. I only have one more thing on my list, and that's Guilty Pleasure Movie. And then you have something about bands.
Oh my God, yes. Do you want to do guilty pleasure or you know what?
Ooh.
We should just skip all that right now and do TikToks.
Yeah.
Let's just do
Sounds
TikToks.
great.
Let's
I
react
dig
to 'em.
that. I like it. So let me queue up our first.
Wow, your first time watching TikTok in like a week.
Yes. Actually,
You
that's
guys
not
are witnessing
true.
it here.
It's funny as hell.
I take it back.
The reason that it's not true is because Kimber, my partner, has been watching TikTok. So I've been watching TikTok remotely. You know what I mean? Like I'll be sitting and I'll be seeing TikToks.
Yeah, that's cool because that's her For You page. That's not yours. So you get a whole different experience.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
so that's cool.
For the longest time, did not have an account. And that's how I found out not having an account is actually pretty cool. You see a whole bunch of stuff you do not see any other way.
Yep. Okay. You just can't go in and be like, ooh, I like this person. I want to follow. They're like, make an account. And you're like, right. I don't
No likes, no follows, no buttery goodness. So
oh my God. Let me tell you the name of these because I like naming them too.
Sounds great.
This one's called Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Excellent. We're about to watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And everybody listening at home. By the way, you should come check us out on YouTube. It's much better. Here we go.
Yes.
When marimba rhythm starts to play.
I muted it because I can tell we're going to get in trouble. I could tell by the music we were going to get in trouble. So, we need to describe this video. That's an awesome video. So, I'm presuming a wife walks into the kitchen wearing a dress. She grabs a drink out of the refrigerator. The husband, wait a sec. You know what? I'm not buying this now. Watch. Okay, stop. Right there. So, okay. I didn't see him pull the screen across. So what he does is he throws something at her drink, knocks it out of her hand.
At a Truly, or whatever that thing is. It's either a White Claw or whatever it's called.
It's the seltzer beer.
Yes, the seltzer.
So he throws something at the seltzer beer, knocks it out of her hand, and then closes the screen. Like that's going to do anything. And then she runs over and kicks the screen and knocks him down. Now, did you name it Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Or was that actually... Okay. Because I was going to say, this reminds me of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
If you... I don't know what these people are called, their name, but it's a husband and wife, and this is all what they do. They just beat each other up.
Oh, well, that's...
No, I mean, it looks like they're having fun doing it.
It does look like they're having fun.
My question was, could you be in a relationship where every corner you're looking at something thrown at you, someone hitting you, someone... No. I could not. No.
I call it the BAM effect. So I grew up in Westchester, which we've talked about before. And I've always known about YouTube, and I've always said people are going to make money doing YouTube. Now, I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I refuse to do the BAM style or the modern YouTube couple thing where they're always beating each up, they're always pranking each other, and they're always like angry. Like, how does that relationship last? Like, some of them I would have broke up after the first time you threw something at me. Done.
Right, because you can see on this TikTok, I think that one's actually the wife, but I think both the husband and the wife do like the same videos. They just post them both.
Right.
And then they have their own like random talk, but when they are going to do like a prank on each other, you can actually see them set up the camera and are like 1, 2, and then they jump and they just start smacking and beating the hell out of each other. And I'm like, nope, that relationship does not work for me. Nope.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's funny that we should bring that up because I remember there were plenty of couples when I was a kid. That was the relationship. Like the husband would come in and the wife wouldn't throw a knife at him, but like a grapefruit. They throw grapefruit at him.
Right.
And then he'd be like, honey, what did I do? And she'd be like,
Yep.
How do you answer that? By the way,
Well, you know what I don't like too? I was in a relationship once, and it's going to be like an episode of Friends, but every time I said something funny, she would like hit me and laugh. I didn't like it.
Oh, no.
I didn't, no.
No. Well, it's funny that you should say that, because Kimber, my partner, for fun, she'll punch my leg just for fun. This isn't like, aha, you made me laugh and I'll punch you, because that would drive me crazy. But I have a dead leg. Like, there's a section of my leg where I have no feeling. So she'll punch me sometimes, and I'll be like, did you just hit me? Because I won't feel it. Now, here's the problem. I let my friends know a long time ago that I had a dead portion of my leg. Never tell people from Westchester this. They used to do it on purpose. They'd walk up and they'd be like, wham, hit me as hard as they could. I couldn't feel it. The problem is, the next day, 2 days, 3 days later, my leg was a color that's not on the spectrum. It was a combination of black, green, purple, and blue.
Oh,
and
no.
it looked bad, like really bad.
Yeah.
And this is the major problem with anybody that has nerve damage, is that you can't feel the pain. And the pain is there to help you so you don't do it again or continue
You're like,
doing
I'm taking
it.
my hand off the stove. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so I normally don't bring it up that I have a dead leg, but it's better than not feeling my legs at all. We'll get into that another day. Yeah. We got another TikTok. Get a TikTok up on the screen.
Oh, let me
set it up.
Let's see. This is the feel good of the week.
Feel good of the week.
And
we need a little logo.
This one is Sourdough Brett. If you know who Sourdough Brett is,
I do.
I think that's his name.
I do know Sourdough Brett.
So
give me a second. I want to put a. Go ahead.
I don't think there's any music in this. You could totally
I turned the audio on. Yep, I turned the audio on.
Is completely awesome, and I was just like, "This is why I'm friends with you."
Right.
And yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this screen up, and then hopefully you can replace it with the feel good TikTok of the week.
Yeah, I need to make that, huh?
It is now that time in the show where we react to your TikTok videos. If you would like us to react to your videos, please email us at tpshow@gmx.com. Oh my god, you to stop fooling around. You have reactions to do.
We have reactions to do.
She's so mean. She just bosses us around the whole time.
She's so mean.
Like she's our producer or something.
Exactly.
Like, get back to work.
Do your job. Here we go. Feel good of the week.
Yes.
If you don't get the job or you don't get the girl, I just want you to know it's not.
Hi, my name is Brett. Some people call me Sourdough. I was cruising through TikTok earlier and I came across your video, and I want to say it reminded me of me a little over a year and a half ago when I first started this app. Kind of like you, I didn't have a lot of real life friends, and man, I was in a lonely place in my life, let's just say that. I kind of came across this app on accident, and I just started posting stuff, and I got a great response. If there's like one piece of advice I can throw at you though is put aside your insecurities and your shyness. Just post what you like, post what you're into, post what your hobbies are, and like-minded individuals will find you, and it'll be great.
He's awesome. Like,
so everybody
that's the reason
in the audience
why we're in TikTok.
That was called a splice. I just wanted to tell them what that is. If you've never been on TikTok has different ways to interact with other people's TikToks. So you can duet them, you can react to them, and this one was called a splice, which is the newest one. So you basically take a certain amount of their video and you put your stuff at the end. And I loved it.
This user was crying and looks like she's having a horrible experience on TikTok, and Brett comes in and like a superhero. He's just like the big brother or like the dad that just like comforts you.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome. Like
And
that dude.
I like his story. Like I was following him. I mean, I'm still following him. But when I first saw him, I'm not sure if you're the one that liked him, and then I saw it because of you. But it was around the same time that you started following him. I know for some reason in my head, I'm like, I remember.
Yeah.
And he has an interesting hobby. Do you know what his hobby is? Ooh. Do you know what his hobby is?
It is now time.
Do you know what his hobby is? Sorry, I had to do it.
No.
He collects
it's not
old-
smoking cigarettes.
No, collecting old beer cans.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin it for you because I had a feeling you would have gotten to it.
Yeah.
So he'll go on a hike. Let me finish that part of it out. He'll go on a hike, and he'll find like a dirty, nasty, rusty, like it's going to give you tetanus just looking at it, and he'll get super excited. He's like, oh my God, look at this. The first time I ever saw him do that, I'm like, I wouldn't be touching that.
Right.
And then he cleans them up and he puts them in his collection. I was like, wow. I mean, it's a service to everybody.
He's recently like 3 months, no nicotine.
Yes.
Like no cigarettes, nothing like that. And it is,
that's hard.
Yeah, he's just an awesome dude. Like
he is. He goes on hikes a lot. And he had a 1 million view TikTok as well. It was funny because he did a follow-up on that TikTok, and I didn't know about statistics about a TikTok until he did it. Because he's like, people have watched my TikTok for 4,352 minutes. And then he got out a calculator and he's like, that's 394 years. And again, this math is wrong. I can't remember exactly what he said. But he's like, people have watched this for 394 years? What are they doing? Like, he was just blown away. But it was a full minute TikTok, and everybody was watching it to the end. And there were millions of people watching it. And that time adds up.
It does.
Man, that was so funny. Oh, man. Love that dude.
Let's go.
He's somebody I would love to have on the show as well.
Oh,
we've seen this one before.
We should...
I swear we've seen this one before. Have I just seen this one? I might have just
You're pulling
seen
up
this
the one that's called Electric, right?
Yes. Have we talked about it on the show? I know this one really well. That's why I'm asking. I'm like, okay. So, set it up, Professor. It's on the screen.
All right. This is a guy that has a Tesla coil as a gun. If you don't know what a Tesla coil is, you got to watch the show. And this is freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yep. And the audio is good, I think, on this one.
I think
it's basically
so
the sound of the Tesla gun.
Yes.
Tesla coil gun.
Right.
Wow. So what's it arcing to? Why is it not coming back to ground? So that's the primary. That's the coil. No, you do not have air cooling on that.
Water cooled, man.
It's water cooled. You know what's unreal to me? I wanted to study Tesla coils, and I started Googling. And you live where I live.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
That is.
Oh, dude. One more time, please. Okay. Here.
I'm going to let that play in the background with no audio.
Yeah.
Because that's just cool.
That is so cool. I mean,
you know what it reminds me of?
He's
Go ahead.
What?
I was
going to say Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no. It does remind me. Okay. The outfit, like the backpack and the gun, totally Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. But the arc that comes out of it, first of all, it's lightning. Well, that's what it looks like.
You're right. Yes.
But I have a plasma ball. It's basically a small little ball, and you put your finger on it, and the plasma shoots up.
Yep.
That's what it reminds me of. But that's just amazing. I want one.
I would not stand in front of him. No. I would not.
He was too close. Like when the guy's like, I'm going to come over and look at it. No. You can press the button again.
I'll look at it from a distance. Yeah. Yes.
And I love the fact he didn't get the answer as to why it didn't arc through his body.
Right.
before he stood right next to him. Like, the guy could have been like, it doesn't arc because I'm wearing the right shoes. But if you're wearing the wrong shoes, you're dead. And the guy's standing right next to him with the wrong shoes, and he's dead.
Yeah, he's like, I'm grounded to the earth right now. I'm grounded.
But you're screwed.
And yeah.
You live 3 blocks away from me? Man, now you live in the ground.
Yeah. You're wearing Nikes, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Air Jordans, to be exact. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm joking. It's funny that I joke about that because we bring up Gary Vee every once in a while, and Gary Vee does not like Jordan at all.
I get it.
And
I get it.
Whenever anybody brings up,
I don't like Jordan.
Right. And I'm from Philly. We don't like Jordan. We don't like Kareem or Shaq or you know what I mean? I'm from Philly. We like Barkley.
I know.
We like
I like Barkley.
Iverson. We like Julius Erving.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the modern basketball players, by the way. You can tell when my sports knowledge ends.
Yeah, you do. Who's the biggest name on the Lakers right now? Come on.
We all know that. And his name is at the tippy top of my brain. My God, I can see him. I hate when this happens.
He came from Cleveland.
LeBron. Sorry.
Yeah.
LeBron James. Oh, no. I knew his bounce around the country, but hasn't he played for 3 or 4 teams? Because he didn't start
He
in
went
Cleveland,
to Miami and then went back to Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay. So it was Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland, LA. And he only goes someplace to win.
Living in Kansas, it's so hard to follow basketball because there's no team. Imagine. So I used to follow the Lakers since I was a kid, watching like Magic Johnson and Kareem, and then Nick Van Axel, Eddie Jones, Ron Harper, all that stuff. And we're just And now
I always wanted to be able to dunk. That was my big thing. I always wanted to do. I just never could. Just couldn't. It was so sad. Yeah.
Let's see. This next one is star something, and we can play audio. I am almost for sure on this one.
Excellent.
And you'll see why I say star something. We might need to play this twice because we'll miss everything the first time.
Oh, I'm sure. Trying to get. Okay. Wait until it wraps. Okay.
This guy's awesome too. I forget his name, but he's my friend.
Cool. I like friends. So
friends are awesome.
It's on the screen.
Now you can see why I said star something.
That's a classic TikTok pose. That's all I'm going to say about it. For anybody who's not watching, how do you describe
you just need to watch. You just need to watch. Yeah. It will stop.
I love Star Trek. I mean, that's wrong. What?
That's it.
I'll turn the music off. Let it play some more. That's hilarious, by the way. And you know what's funny is that one doesn't bother me. I've seen a lot of guys do similar ones to that they really bother me because they're creepers. It's gross.
Why I put this one, because it's kind of like if you're gonna tell someone not to do something or be a dad to someone that you don't need to be, this is an appropriate way in response to do that. But he's just in heaven. He's like, oh my God, this is the best TikTok that I've ever seen. And then
exactly. And I love the fact that he has to know that he did it on purpose and got everything wrong.
Oh yeah.
So
100%.
First of all,
it's so great.
It's just all wrong. Like everything he said was wrong. Like it's a Star Wars theme. He says Star Trek. He does Live Long and Prosper, which is a Vulcan thing. And then he says Nanu Nanu, which we've talked about before. It's Robin Williams from Mork and Mindy. But
anybody on the podcast, I'll just say Baywatch meets a stormtrooper.
Yes, and you know what's funny?
Baywatch meets a stormtrooper.
Not one.
Yeah, you got it.
Not one, but 2. Why can't I? Oh, I know why. Because it's way up there. This is why having a micro studio is helpful, because Yeah, I got the
Everything's
same mask.
right
I don't have the cleavage though.
You don't have
Not
the
that
cleavage
she
part,
has.
no.
No, but I got the mask.
No. Yep.
Hers is better. She got the real deal mask. This is like the
I don't know if it.
dollar
I
store
don't.
mask.
Wait. Let's say I don't know if it's real, though.
The mask?
Like.
Oh, you think it might be a filter?
No, I don't know if I don't know who's
You're not
TikTok
talking about
that
the
is.
mask.
I'm not.
No, you're not. Well, that's a California thing. The real. What's the classic line? Are those real? They're real
Right.
nice. That's the
They're real
classic
nice.
California line. Yeah, that's a very standard look for LA. By
Yes.
the way,
Yeah,
like I've gone to
100%.
many an event where you're like, where's all like what is
Yeah.
there any
Where do I
silicone
look?
left anywhere?
Yeah. Right.
Although everybody's switched to saline. Just so you know, for anybody in the podcast that doesn't know what we're talking about, breast augmentation.
Yes.
And if you have breasts that are not real, please switch to saline.
Yes,
Silicone
please.
leaks and will kill you.
Yeah. You don't want a leaky boob.
No, leaky boob's bad. Leaky boob's
Leaky boob's
bad.
bad. Yeah.
So
Now
I know
we're to the
exactly what the next one is, even though I don't have
TikTok
the
of the
audio
week.
up. This is the TikTok
Yeah. Please
of the
don't
week.
have the audio up. Yep.
Yes, I
No
will.
audio.
Yes, I can tell it's copyrighted because I know exactly what we're
100%.
looking at. So
Yep.
there it is. So good. So good. So this is the
What's
TikTok
her name?
of the week.
Yeah.
Her name is Makeup Metamorphosis or Metamorphosis.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Makeup Metamorphosis, but it's Makeup Metamorphosis? Is that how you spell morphous? I guess it is. Makeup Metamorphosis. Yeah, it's called reading. I don't know how
Cool.
to do that.
It's
So
okay.
overrated.
She's fantastic, and what you're gonna see is like her top cosplay, and it is
Wow.
just great.
Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal. That's really phenomenal. So the first one,
Right.
as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know exactly who that is, and I know the exact
Right.
song. I'm happy. I'm feeling.
Feeling sad. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then, let me see. The other one's Avatar's in there. So that one's, what's the name of that band?
So we got the Joker, but the Joker is
Yes.
a skull, and then I didn't know if that was like an X-Men character or the Avatar. I didn't know.
Oh, you're right.
That one right there.
You're right. You're right. You know who that is? That definitely looks like the X-Men character. It's like a combination though. No,
Yeah.
no, that's definitely her. That's man, it's gonna make me mad. I'm gonna have to look it up. But anyway,
Mirage.
it's played
I
by
wanna say
Jennifer
Mirage.
Lawrence.
I don't know. Something like
yes, and
whatever her name
also
is.
Rebecca Remain Stamos. Those are the two people that I know that have played that character.
I thought
on
Tyra Reid
X-Men.
played it like the first one too.
Tara Reid. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't doubt it.
The first one with like Ryan Reynolds where he was Deadpool. Like that time.
Interesting.
But I could be way off. I don't know.
No. I just know that Rebecca Remain Stamos
Someone please
played
comment.
the blue girl,
Yeah.
and then they got past a point where she could do it anymore because they were going back
Right.
in time. Like you can't be 35 playing an 18-year-old. Well, you can,
No.
but it doesn't ever work. So then they got Jennifer Lawrence, and she played it. Mystique. Oh my God, it only took me
Mystique,
20 minutes. Jeez.
Nah, you're good.
Now, which is
You-
this one? This is the only one.
I don't know.
I
I think this
Yeah.
is just her creation.
Yep,
And
yep.
it's
That's what I was gonna
awesome.
say, OC,
like her skin's
original
melting
character.
and it is freaking
It's
awesome.
super good. Yeah. I was just trying to go through all of them. So
Right.
that's
That's from the Gorillas.
that's it. That's the lead singer from the
Yep.
Gorillaz. And then the next one is Joker.
Yep.
And then the next one is Mystique from X-Men. And you can tell, you're right, it's not Avatar. It's the yellow jumpsuit is what gives it away.
Oh yes.
And
you're
then
right.
last but not least, what looks to be an OC. And those eyes are
Yes.
creepy. Creepy.
Right, yeah.
She basically
This was
painted
fantastic.
eyes. Yeah, go ahead.
Bigger than her eyes to make it look like she's almost like a anime character, and it is
Bingo.
fantastic.
Yep, that's what I was
I don't
gonna
even
say.
think her eyes are open. I think they're
No,
both closed
no.
on this one.
Yeah, her eyes
Yeah.
are closed, and she definitely has anime eyes. Anime
Yeah,
eyes. Why hasn't anybody made a song like that? She's got anime eyes. Now, it's funny enough. So I told you my partner has been watching TikToks and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I had to show her the skinny face because a long time ago, when you would do a TikTok,
Yes.
the phone camera with TikTok would slim your face to make you look
Yes, it would.
skinnier. And then when you would put your
Right.
hand in front of it, your face would pop back out again. And in order to do that, they would cut a little bit of each of the edges. And my beard and my hair would cause glitches on the edge. So
Yes.
any edge would have all these like weird fuzzy things. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But welcome to TikTok circa
To the
2
world
years
of
ago.
TikTok.
Yeah,
Yeah.
early TikTok back in the day. We are out of TikToks. I didn't make any this week.
We are.
I didn't watch any this week. Well, I watched indirectly. It's funny too because there's a specific pose that we talked about on our show 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was the one where the guy was very preachy. Like, your daughter shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. She's 20. We had a whole discussion about it. But I was like, that's a TikTok pose. And she's like, what's another TikTok pose? And I was like, this one where you just sort of lean into the camera, which was the TikTok we just watched.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been trying to think of other TikTok poses where they're thirst posts. So we've been talking about that too. We've been talking about thirst posts and TikTok poses. I'm trying to think. And it's funny when she's watching TikToks, it's like I can't hear that sound anymore. Like 5 in a row.
There's so
same sound.
many of that. Yeah.
Over and over again.
Well, and it's like some of the same audio is still being played from when like you first joined. You'll hear it and you'll be like, that's an old one.
Yep.
And you're like, how did that? Yeah.
My personal favorite, though, is when somebody says something and it catches on. The one that I always remember was my catchphrase for a while. What in cousin effin' tarnation, Alabama, Betty Crocker, Miss effin' Betty White, S is this, holy S. Edited for YouTube.
Yeah.
Because she was watching a lady.
But you know what? I'm going to put all those horn sounds in there. So every time you say F, it's going to be the...
I love that. She was watching this lady, and she doesn't like Trump. And I kind of agree, 100%. But she was going off. She was just going ballistic. And it was the combination of words that my head just went... I don't know if she liked that one or not, but I should bring that one up next week. Because when people, especially when you live in different parts of the country, you have word combinations like for Southern California, wicked.
Right, I say that a lot.
Yeah, wicked for Boston. It's wicked good, wicked this, wicked that. But her word combinations reminded me of what and cousin. It totally did. They were just like, how did you come up with those two words, jam them together, and it seemed so seamless, and it made so much sense. Yeah. It was funny.
Yep.
So good. So good. So good.
Where
does it come from? So good. So good. There's a song or something. Okay. Did that. Okay. We've gotten through the TikToks. Wow. It normally takes us half the night. Smart idea. Getting to them quicker.
Yeah.
So
I really think I only have one other thing. If you want to do like movies or something like that, we can talk about that.
I was watching a movie the other day, and what popped into my head is I shouldn't be watching this movie. This movie's pure, unadulterated crap. And then I went, but I like watching it. And so that brought up the fact that people really love The Room. And so I said, you know what? Next week, couple weeks. Let's do guilty pleasure movie. What movie do you watch and you're like, this is not a good film? Like, it's not a good film.
Right.
I'm not talking about a film like Matrix 2 or Matrix 3, where a lot of people are like, those are the worst ever. Matrix, great. Matrix 2, horrible.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about a movie that universally, Showgirls as an example, universally people are like, not a good film. Now, did you come up with one by any chance?
I am a quiet Kevin Costner fan. So a lot of his movies, everybody's like, these just suck. And Waterworld.
Yes, Waterworld's horrible. Horrible.
I love that movie. Yeah, I don't care. It's like Mad Max on water. Right. Yeah.
No,
and I don't care if he has gills behind his ears. Yeah.
I tried to get into it, and I just can't. I've tried.
But so for me, I like, and I'm not. This is not me like being like, you need to watch this movie, and you got to watch it because I like it, and this is the reason why it's so good. I just like having someone that's an underdog, and it being in like a post-apocalyptic world.
Yep.
And you're fighting for your life, and these guys that are chasing you look like they just like slept in crap, and they don't give a shit about their lives, and they just want to kill you. Like
pretty much
that's what movies I like. And then he's the hero. He gets the girl. He drinks his own pee. Yeah. I mean, you're on the water.
Well, it's funny that you said the body of work that is Kevin Costner, because for whatever reason, I was flipping channels one day, and it was like Costner, and I didn't know how many baseball films he had made. I mean, he made a lot.
Yeah, Field of Dreams, wasn't it? Yeah, there was a lot.
He was the catcher in the one with Susan Sarandon, and I'm trying to think of the other one that I saw. And then he also made Draft Day, which is a football film.
He did make Draft Day, yeah.
And I was like, what is that other movie, though? But yeah, there's like I think it's 3 baseball films. And it might be 4, but definitely 3. And for somebody...
For me, anytime Kevin Costner does like an action movie, I'm just like, I'm in. I buy it. I don't care.
I'm in.
Yep.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. I had a hard time with Dances with Wolves. I mean, it's a great film, but it reminds me, it's like a Schindler's List for me. Like, I was just like, oh.
Right. Oh. No, I totally understand. That would be a movie for me that like I can see probably once a decade. Right. Where I'm just like, I don't want to see your butt again, dude. Like, I'm done. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
It was probably a double anyways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it wasn't his real butt.
Right. You're going to pay me how much not to show my butt? Right. You got it.
Yeah.
Get that butt double in here. For me, it came on the other day, and I'm like, this movie is horrible. Why am I even watching it? And it gets stuck in my head. I'm like, I have to see this movie. It is...
I get it.
Battlefield Earth. The L. Ron Hubbard trashy novel turned into a movie with John Travolta.
John Travolta, that's it. Yep, I get it.
What's
I remember
the other guy? The other
He's
guy
only
in
like
it,
a villain in like everything. Yeah.
Yes. But the other guy that's in it, who's the samurai? I know this guy. But anyway, they're both big in Scientology. It's like every person in the entire movie has to be Scientology. But the reason, I finally figured it out when I was watching it, why it annoys me so much. I mean, it doesn't annoy me because it's my guilty pleasure, but I understand why it annoys everyone. And it is, I can't do it today. Oh, maybe I can. Every single shot in the entire flipping movie.
It wasn't a steady cam. Yeah.
No. It's even worse than that. I call it, wait for it. Let me see.
Well,
Batman.
This is
camera angles.
Yep.
For everything.
Yep.
Every single shot, the entire time.
Yep.
The entire movie.
Everything's an angle. Yes.
Everything is always at an angle. The whole entire movie. which is hilarious to me because as a child, that's how I took pictures. That was my favorite picture style.
I mean,
I used to take
I do that
tons
stuff,
of Batman camera pictures. They were my favorite. I loved taking sideways pictures. And funny enough, it's not called Batman camera. Batman camera angles.
Yeah.
It's actually called Dutch angles because it's from Dutch film makers used to use it all the time. Sorry, I
totally believe
fix what I broke.
So what do you think? Because that was really like John Travolta wanting to do action stuff and like break out from his characters and stuff, because he's made like his action movies, like From Paris with Love. If you ever seen that, that is a fantastic movie.
Ago. Yeah,
like action nonstop, and Swordfish was great.
See, I liked them. I did not go above the like. Like I'd give it a C plus, B minus, I think. Because I think I've seen both of them, and I think I graded both of them. Because Phil, a friend of mine, used to have Movie Fest. You'd get there 1, 2 in the afternoon, stay until 1, 2 in the morning, and he'd run films the whole time. And they'd have themes. And at the end of each film, you'd rate it. If you'd never seen it before, obviously, that'd be the first time you'd rate it. But what would happen at every party is like you've seen a movie, so you then go hang out with people, go outside, and he would have the film running everywhere in the entire house. So you'd be in the basement.
Is awesome.
It would be on the projector. Then he would have it on a TV behind the bar. He'd have it outside by the fire pit. He'd have it by the pool. He'd have it in the bathroom, like everywhere in the house. So everywhere you went, you could see the movie. And I remember we watched one of those. I forget which one it was. And I think I gave it a B minus, C plus. And I probably graded on a scale. Because I'm a fan of Travolta.
Yeah.
But what movie don't I like very much?
Hairspray?
Grease. He's a huge part of Grease. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Hairspray when he dressed up like a woman. Yeah, he dressed up like a woman.
Yeah. He's Divine's mom in that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now here's the
deal.
Know. I've seen Hairspray a bunch because my partner is huge into musicals, and that is like Crybaby, same kind of thing. Now, what I was going to say though, he didn't make that movie to be an action star. He didn't make that movie to be a bad guy. He made that movie because it's an L. Ron Hubbard book. Like, that's the only reason he made it. Like, if somebody else had written that, I don't think he would have been in it. I'm being honest.
Think so. Yeah.
He is
I get it.
number 2, number 3 in the hierarchy of the Church of Scientology. Like, they have millions of members. And Tom Cruise is number 1. And Tom Cruise is like 2 or 3. I'm just saying. Like, they're huge up in that organization.
Right.
We can't say anything bad about them.
Yeah.
Don't even talk.
No.
We didn't talk about them today. Let's just skip that. Too funny.
I'll just cut it out of the whole show.
Yeah. Anytime Scientology has said beep, he didn't say that. Beep.
Church of beep.
Church of
beep.
Beep. Love it.
Yes. We will do that.
I love what's on yours, by the way. Top 5 bands you can't stand the vocalist or vocals. Like, it could be a specific song, I guess, too.
No, it's
the band.
Their voice.
Okay.
It's their voice.
So let's go back and forth.
I mean,
you do one, I'll do one, you do one. You have more than I do, I think. So.
Yeah, because I threw in a whole genre of music. So
there you go.
In my list. Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. That's too funny.
So my number 1 hated vocals. It sounds like someone is just putting nails on the chalkboard, and every time they open their mouth is Offspring. I cannot stand Offspring. Like,
really? That's so funny.
Yeah.
I just heard them
and it's only because
yesterday.
of the vocals. Like,
And they're a Southern Cali band, like big time.
Right.
Big time Southern California. Oh man, that's so funny. I like Offspring. That's even funnier.
It's just like when he's singing, he's trying to like. It's like he recorded on a toilet, like really constipated.
That's so funny.
Like
How did you survive Southern California? Like they're a staple here. Like
I
literally.
know.
No wonder you had to move.
I would be like,
That's
Lit's
so funny.
so much better. Lit. Just go listen to Lit.
Lit's awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think at the same time frame, what is the band? They did the song about the guy in Pennsylvania that killed himself. Filter. I think that's the name of it.
Oh, Filter.
Filter.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a huge fan of those guys. Not that I can remember any band names to save my life.
Right.
So you did one. I'll do one. We did it before. I've already told you. The Cure. Number 1. With a Bullet.
I get it.
As Casey Kasem would say. I love Cure, the band. I love Cure, the lyrics. Just cannot stand his voice.
I get it, dude. I totally get it.
I feel like he's just whining constantly. Anyway.
Because he is. Yeah.
Pretty much. It's very emo. Very emo. So, back at you. Offspring.
Okay. So, I'm going to go Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins. Wow.
I can tell you that I don't like the lead vocalist, but I like their music. If that's
makes sense. Yes. Like if you take, like for me, same. Take the Cure vocalist out and just play the music.
Right.
You're like, this is cool.
Billy Corrigan or whatever his name is has this voice that just once it enters my ears, like my head explodes. I'm like,
it grates on you. Yeah.
But lyrics, musically, they're fantastic. Like I catch myself singing along, and when I'm singing along, it's okay because I'm singing along.
It's your singing, and you're cool with that.
Yeah,
that's so funny. Well, it's funny because I just recently saw Billy Corrigan when he appeared on Howard Stern. It's an old video. It's probably 10 years ago, but they've been doing a lot of Stern best ofs on YouTube and stuff. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're
okay,
good.
it's outside. Okay. So for me, I've always appreciated Smashing Pumpkins. And then when he was telling stories about the business, I was like, yes, because I love music business stories. He was given a piece of advice that he ignored, which is cut everybody in on the writing. So like as a writer, if you write a song, make sure to include the rest of the band. And the reason is it creates a huge rift in the band because Billy Corrigan gets a crap ton of money because he's the writer.
Well, you know who did that? The lead vocalist to Paramore. She was signed under a music, like a contract for a record label. The rest of the band was not.
Wow.
And they only wanted her.
That sounds like a record company. Well, that's record company business stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's the way businesses are. And the record company industry is the most corrupt legal industry I know about, like, period.
Right.
Like, I could start now, and tomorrow we'll end the show about every story I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Like, you've got the boy band stories. You've got the girl band stories. You've got the 50s African-American musicians. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. Also, I was born in Nashville, so I've always had a weird tie to Nashville. And the way that the industry works is so different than I thought. Like, when I was a kid, I thought that the music you're hearing was written by that person, and then they recorded it. And my mom was like, no. We had a really good friend.
Elvis, for example.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Yes and no. Elvis did a lot of remakes of existing songs and made them super popular. Yeah. But I'm talking about the industry as a whole. This is how it basically runs, or it ran, because it's a bit different now. They'd find a music artist, somebody that had the look. Then the writers would write the song. The producers would produce the song with the musicians, and then the artist would perform it, meaning they would just show up and sing some lyrics.
Right.
And sometimes you got the Milli Vanilli effect. But the reason this became important was because my mom set me straight early on, because she goes, you do know that one of the friends of the family wrote Pretty Woman? And I'm like, my head just went, what are you talking about? And my mom was like, yeah, I was friends with Bill Dee's wife, and Bill Dees wrote Pretty Woman. And I was like, I did not know that. And the way that specific song worked was to get Ray Orbison to perform it. He shared the writing credit. It was 50-50 split. So it's like, but that's not normal. Like, Roy Orbison has pull. So you take a song to him, he's like, sure, I'll record it. Give me 50%. Most, especially in Nashville, artists don't get publishing rights, don't get music rights, don't get lyric rights, because they didn't do any of that. They only get the recording rights for their specific recording, and that's it. And it's hard to live on that money, to be quite honest. It's not as much as you would think. So, but that's just crazy talk. That Smashing Pumpkins. I would not have guessed that. I would not. Not. Now, all right, my turn. I'm gonna take us to somebody that I have always had respect for, but I cannot listen to him. Bob Dylan. Amazing artist.
You know what? Yeah, I get it.
Can't listen to him. Can't. It's the whiny thing.
Well, you can't understand him half the time.
Yeah. At the same time, though, if I was into that style, I would probably have gone full boat. But I don't like it.
I totally get it.
And just for anybody in the audience, if you've never heard of Bob Dylan, well, first of all, go look him up, because you need to hear him.
Yes, you need to.
But he is one of the most influential singer-songwriters of the folk, and I'm not sure if it's another era after that, but it's the folk era, basically, right?
Yeah.
It's basically late 60s, early 70s. And he has written some of the most famous songs ever that other people have remade over and over again.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And he was one of the original singer-songwriters. Because we were just talking about, most people didn't write the songs they recorded. Like Elvis is a great example. Right. So, too funny. You're next.
All right.
On your list.
Ooh, Radiohead.
Radiohead?
I am...
What?
So,
love Radiohead.
Yeah.
So funny.
That lead... So, like, I get it. Creep. He doesn't like his own song Creep that made the whole band like lots of money. Most bands, if they have a big hit, I'm like, it's your job to play that song every single time you perform, because it's not about you having fun anymore when you're that famous.
Right. You're not supposed to have fun.
It's a job.
You're famous.
Yeah.
Do what we tell you.
It's a job.
Dance, monkey.
Like you
dance.
If I buy a ticket, you need to play Creep. And oddly, he just, I hate that song. Nope. You're not gonna get it. I don't care. But the cool thing is, I don't like your voice either, and I think it's better when other people perform your songs. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Well, it's weird.
Yeah.
Because when you said Radiohead Creep, it's not... Okay, there's a band that came out with a song, and I don't think it's Radiohead, and I don't think it's Creep, but it's around the same time. They had a single sample, one sample, in the song that was basically from a remake of somebody else's song. It wasn't even the original song, okay? So they went to the remake artist and got permission from the remake artist.
Gotcha.
They did not go to the original artist. So then, for whatever reason, when it became huge, and it's, again, not Radiohead Creep. I got to find the name of this band because I saw this whole thing and I was blown away. That clip that they used, the original artist said, no, you got to take it out. And I didn't think they had the rights to do that, but the band caved. The band's like, fine, you can have the money from this song.
Right.
And they got the controlling rights of the song. So now that song that I'm talking about, that I can't remember the name of, which is pissing me off, got played on every single advertisement you've ever seen. It was like on car ads and billboards. Like they would literally play it out of a speaker. I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And the band was pissed because the band had legitimately wrote the song. Like they had legitimately did the whole song.
Right.
But they had used one little clip from one remake from one artist, and no money got changed hands. But Radiohead Creep came to mind when you said that.
Yeah. And again,
So
it's
funny.
just, it's whiny vocals that I just,
Whiny vocals that drive me crazy.
they do. It's like, just be a man and just sing. Don't
that's
just
so
like do
funny.
this mumble thing.
No mumble mouth. No mumble mouth. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, just sing.
It's so funny that you say that because mumble mouth artists is mumble mouth rappers is like a new thing.
Oh my god.
And it's funny because I've seen 3 interviews with 3 OG rappers that are like, I don't like it. I don't like this. The whole point back in the day was you were such a good rapper and you could do it so eloquently, everybody knew what you were saying.
Eminem.
And they were
Eminem, you
pissed.
could understand everything
Every
and he does
word.
it so fast.
Every word.
Yeah,
Every word.
every single word.
And I found the song. I found the song. And I'm going to bring up another song as well. The Verve, Bittersweet Symphony. They they could not, they basically, Yep. They basically said, okay, you guys can have the money. And then they totally got ripped off, like completely. And it's one of those things where the artist is like, I don't feel like fighting. And they should have. Because one song above, Ice, Ice, Baby by Vanilla Ice. And do you know the controversy behind that, right? There's actually two controversies.
Oh.
Do you know either of them?
Maybe when you bring them up.
Wait a second.
I wasn't a big Vanilla Ice fan.
It is now time to play.
Who the hell is? I had to cut in. Who is a big Vanilla Ice fan? I hated Vanilla Ice. Everything that I did not like about rap was him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first controversy is from Bohemian Rhapsody band. I hate when that happens. Yes, Queen. I hate that.
Was it Under Pressure? Was that it?
Yes.
The song?
The first controversy.
Yeah.
Did your phone just go off? How dare you?
I don't think so.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
First controversy was Queen because Vanilla Ice claims it's a different loop because it goes dun 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 and then has a pause at the end. That was legitimately. He would go on television and tell people, "Oh, it's totally different. Theirs is dun 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 dun, and mine is dun 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 dun." Pause. Really? Really? And he still makes millions of dollars off that song. Money. I said that a few weeks ago because I saw him from a 2017 interview. He still sells 1 million albums a year. That album.
Yeah, because someone new finds him in Japan or something.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a very catchy song. When you steal a good loop, it's going to be catchy. So that's the first controversy. English. Second one. You ready for it? Suge Knight.
Knight?
Suge Knight. Yeah. You know who Suge Knight is? Death Row?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Southern
I'm California.
Exactly.
California.
Exactly.
Come on.
So the story goes, and all hearsay. I don't know if any of this is true. This is all urban legend.
Nobody
Knight-
find Tick.
Exactly.
No.
Suge Knight showed up to Vanilla Ice's apartment with his friends, otherwise known as big thugs, bodyguards, and they held Vanilla Ice out a window by his feet until he said, yes, you can have 50% of Ice Ice Baby. And he signed on the dotted line and gave him 50% of Ice Ice Baby. Those are the two controversies I know about. So, but that was because I had to find Bittersweet Symphony. It was killing me, dude. It's killing me, dude. Killing me. But that came out around the same time as Radiohead's song. That's why it clicked in my head. Because I remember the radio just constantly playing both. It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. My next, it's a band, is The Dead. Grateful Dead.
Oh,
if I liked The Dead, I would have gone on tour. I don't like The Dead. Do not like The Dead. And it's the vocals. Almost, well, the music annoys me, but the vocals just, whatever. Be done with the song already. Move on. And 45 minutes later, jeez.
Well, I mean, how do you like the Grateful Dead 2 band? What is his name?
You talking about Fish?
Oh, no. I was talking about, God, now I need to find it because it was right there and I was going to have it.
And
then
I messed
you said
up.
Fish and then I don't have it anymore.
But there's a Grateful Dead 2 band? It doesn't surprise me. Is it the Bob Weir band or something like that?
No.
Okay. But no, the reason that I brought up Fish for anybody in the audience was when I was a kid, people would drop out and follow the Dead. I have a friend that followed the Dead.
Oh,
and
gotcha. Oh,
Fish became the band that people followed after the Dead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Dave Matthews.
I like Dave Matthews. I actually do. And the reason that you say Dave Matthews, but the reason you say Dave Matthews, he has the same exact rule that the Dead did. So the Dead would allow people to record the show, which at the time was, nobody was letting anybody do that. Nobody was allowed.
Right.
And then that's the exact same thing that Dave Matthews did. He said, anybody can record my thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
That's so funny, Dave Matthews. You're up next. Next.
All right. I live in California and I don't like Blink-182.
Yeah, you better move. I'm just telling you, man. Was all ska? Like, did you dislike all ska? Because I mean, I'm sensing a theme here.
Aquabats are really cool. I love Aquabats. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So ska stuff, we're good. Really Big Fish.
I'm not a huge.
I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Blink 182 fan. No, I never have been.
Vocals just.
What's funny
Travis Barker.
I'm a huge Travis Barker
cool
fan.
drummer.
Yeah, that's the funniest part. I'm a huge fan of that dude.
Machine Gun Kelly's really good. If you know who Machine Gun Kelly is,
I do.
He plays drums for them.
I do. Too much controversy.
They're great.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I get
the
it.
Machine Gun Kelly controversy annoys me because it reminds me of any 6-year-old that walks up to an MMA fighter and like punches him. Like, hey.
Yeah.
Psh. Like, dude, you're 6.
Right. Well, and for me, I'm like,
go ahead.
Machine Gun Kelly, cool. Would I have him on rotation? Like, listen to him every day? No.
Right. Well, for me, what it comes
Travis
down to...
Barker is awesome.
Yeah, for me, I don't like the way he gamed the system. Meaning, he picked a fight with Eminem, knowing that it would cause his star power to go up. You know what I mean? It wasn't...
100%.
If he had legitimately been like, I think I'm better than Eminem, okay. But he had to know. He had to know. And the thing was, to me, it was picking on a kid that had fallen. And what I mean by that is Eminem hadn't put music out in a long time. And then all of a sudden this young upstart comes along and is like, kick him in the knees. And then Eminem's like, okay, I'll come back full swing. You're done.
Right.
And he was.
Here's
It
Rap
was
God
over.
for you. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the off-the-cuff Eminem rap in the parking lot? It's actually a parking structure. It's insane. It's insane, dude. I watch his stuff. Yeah. My favorite documentary by far is Eminem and Dr. Dre. And I forget the name of that documentary, but it's so good. Jimmy Iovine. Dr. Dre, have you heard this story? Did you see the documentary by any chance?
Nope.
So Jimmy Iovine, being the head of a record label, had a room full of cassettes because that's how people used to want to get found. Right. You would send a cassette in. So Jimmy Iovine was like, yeah, I have a whole room of cassettes. And Dr. Dre was like, yeah, I'm going to go listen to these because my ideas are there, but like, I need something. He came across Eminem. And I think the story goes that within a week of him first listening to the tape, he was signed. Like, it was like, I listened to it, and within 1 week, he signed. For anybody out there that doesn't understand that, most bands are touring, have a following, and have been on the road for 2 to 3 years, and have had 4 or 5 labels looking at them before they even get an offer for a contract. That is the normal, like, time frame.
The only band that comes to mind is Counting Crows. They got signed within like 3 months of like joining together.
Yes. Yeah. But that's highly unusual. Unusual.
And then they stayed a band. Like not many of them have left. Like they're all the same original band if you go see them, which is weird. Because
it is weird because
most people hate each other after a decade. Yeah.
The way that I always described being in a band, you were in a band, so you'll understand this. It's like being married to 4 or 5 people, or 3 or 4, depending on how many are in your band. You're married to them. You spend all day, every day with them all the time.
No matter what it is, it's always the freaking bass player that screws everything up. I don't care what it is, and you're waiting on the bass player. I don't care.
One thing to
I don't
say.
care what genre.
One thing to say. I hate the fact that you say that, and that my band had the exact same experience. I hate that twice. Our bass player was amazing, by the way. Rick is an amazing bass player, but he just quit. Like, we got done. So my band, Lovecraft's Grave, speaking of which, I'm going to have to play some of it some point, because this is the time of year to play it. So let me do a search on my
You know what we can do? We can even do, like, the next show. We'll play music from the bands, because
sounds great.
My old band all broke up, and it's only that recording that I showed you.
So
it's not copyrighted.
I've been in 2 bands, and then I've produced 1 or 2 bands. Parasite Connection was not a real band. I mean, it was a band, but we never had any intention of making money. That wasn't really what was going to happen ever. Lovecraft's Grave was my other band, and it was the exact opposite. The only reason we got together was so that we could go make money. You know what I mean?
Money, yeah.
Not money. We wanted to be professional musicians. You know what I mean? And to be professional, you have to make money. So it wasn't like we were... Right. There's certain bands that sell out right away. Like, the first day, they're like, you want a Mountain Dew jingle? We're there.
Yep.
We were not that at all. I found my stuff. And
nice.
So we were in the studio for 2 years. 2 years.
Wow.
We wrote a full album, and we were just about to release it. And Rick's like, I'm done. I'm out. Bye. Later. I was so mad. I quit. I quit music after that, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Can you hear it, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's... I keep forgetting we swear constantly. So I stopped it. We swore. I forgot about that. But the major malfunction with our music was we made music in the early 90s before sampling law was shored up. I can tell you, we recorded stuff from so many movies that you just can't be using. Like we did Pulp Fiction, Miller's Crossing, Legend. We also used video game sound effects, and we would just sample everything and use them and make songs out of them. Let me see if I can find one that we don't swear right at the front. Jeez. This is called, I do believe it's Candles in the Rain. Oh, you'll probably hate our singer too. But anyway, and our singer's dead.
Yep. Very Manson, like Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
So,
well, we were trying to be
early Manson.
thicker than Ministry. And this is before Manson was really Manson. Nobody was really doing this kind of style at the time we came out.
Some White Zombie vibes, too.
Yes. Yeah. And White Zombie had like one album in the can. We were really influenced a lot by Typo and Ministry.
Oh, Typo Negative? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And we were trying to be thicker than Ministry. And we ended up being what other people called us gothic audio horror. It's great at Halloween. It creeps people out all the time. And we did a lot of stereo effects. So like if you listen to it in headphones, it totally is freaky. But the reason I brought that up is because you're like, bass players, they screwed up.
Bass players.
Oh, that's so funny. And so mean. So mean.
What? We're always waiting on a bass player, and then it would be like, "Oh, we quit," and then like you're like, we don't have another bass. We'll just play shows without a bass player. I don't care. Yeah.
Do we just glitch? Oh, okay. Bass players are the hardest to replace. There's something about playing bass. It's basically not front enough, meaning you're not even the rhythm guitarist, like the lead guitarist. Go ahead.
But you have Primus, like the best bass player in the freaking world. Like, my God.
No, I agree.
He was too good for Metallica. Like,
No, I get it.
He tried out for Metallica, and they were like, "No, you're too good. We can't. No."
I don't know if it's too good or too creative. Meaning that Metallica style and Primus's style, it's like, I don't know. It's like you put ketchup on noodles. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Although,
I mean, you throw Primus and you're just like throwing like weird backwoods country music that has like that's rock and roll that's into Metallica would not work. No.
It's so funny that you said Primus because immediately you were like Primus bass player. The very first thing that popped into my mind. Wait for it.
It is now time to play.
Let me guess. Let me actually guess this one.
Okay.
Rush.
Oh my God. Rush? No. Good band though.
Oh.
And again, that's the band I should have said. I'm not a big fan of Geddy Lee's vocals. I
don't like his vocals.
Yeah. They're an amazing band. And Neil Peart was one of the best drummers of all times. Have you ever heard about Neil Peart dealing with his fans, like even other drummers? He's hilarious.
No, because when I don't like a vocalist, I stop caring about a band. So
I still
that's how it goes.
See, I had too many friends that loved Rush, and I just wasn't a huge fan. Yeah. But the thing with Rush is Neil Peart, being one of the best drummers of all times ever, hated when people would be like, "You're a god, you're a god." So he would have other famous drummers come up to him and he would kind of blow him off. He'd be like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't even want to talk to you."
Right.
I just find that so funny. No, it is not Rush. That is an excellent guess. They are actually a fictional band. They are actually not a real band. They are, but they aren't.
Oh. Wait, what? Because my next thing, if you didn't say that, I was going to go Red Hot Chili Peppers and Flea. Because he's an amazing bass player.
He is.
So,
but my friend was named Flea before him. So that's all I got to say. Nope.
Right.
Nope. 2 guesses. You want a third? They are a fictional band.
I'm done.
Okay.
I don't know any other bass players, so.
The very first mockumentary was Spinal Tap.
Wait.
I messed it up.
Spinal Tap?
Well, yeah. Okay, that's an inside joke. So, all my friends from high school were all huge Spinal Tap fans. And in the movie, they're like, hey, are you Spinal Tarp? And so we've always called them Spinal Tarp. But the funniest thing is, they have a song with 3 basses. That's why when you said bass, I think it's Big Bottom Girls. I think that's the song. And odd tick trivia, I was in the front row for Spinal Tarp when they came to town.
Nice.
And
awesome.
Here's the story. It was me and Stud. We were standing in front of the movie store. Okay, for kids that don't know, when you wanted to get tickets to go to a concert, you had to wait at a store. And the first person in line got the best tickets.
Yeah,
it's such a classic Spinal Tap story. So we're standing there, right? It's me and Stud. That's it. There's nobody else, right? The guy who's opening the store walks up. He's like, oh, do you have to return a movie? Because it was a movie store. Again, these are things that kids probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we're standing there. And he's like, why are you guys here then? And we're like, we're here for tickets for a concert. He's like, because they know, like when Backstreet Boys came to town, when NKOTB, the line would literally be a mile down the street. So they knew he was like, when bands were coming to town.
Who?
We're like, Spinal Tap. 2 guys just standing in a parking lot. Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap. And the dude just gave us this look like, what? So he goes inside, starts the machine, brings us in. We ended up getting front row tickets and 4th row tickets because we needed like 8 total tickets. But it was hilarious. And we all went. We had an amazing time. The only thing I didn't like about that show is because there aren't a real band. The roadies were dicks. Total assholes. They did not treat Spinal Tap with any respect at all. And you could tell what they were doing. They were basically trying to cherry pick women out of the concert that they could get laid with. It was so annoying. I did not like their stage crew at all. Love Spinal Tap.
So,
and Stonehenge came out.
Speaking of roadies, did you ever play the best roadie video game ever? If you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Oh my God.
What was that?
Jack Black, Brutal Legend. It came out for Xbox 360. And
what's the name of this?
It is Brutal Legend. Jack Black.
What do you have to do?
Oh my God. It is freaking awesome. It's his first video game.
That's funny.
And he plays a roadie, and he's the best roadie in the world for this crappy like boy rock band. And
that sounds awesome.
He builds all these sets and he saves them. Like they're climbing up on this big old huge skull, and you have to like save the people from falling. And then like Satan comes up out of the ground, and
that's so funny.
Like he has to save the world from this like Satan by playing music. And he has this big old act that he's like playing, and it's so awesome. And it's all Jack Black, like all of his voice for the character. And it cuts through to like a movie scenes where he'll be you got to hear this album, and it's like chapter 2, and he like flip it over, and it's so
Have
great.
you seen his YouTube?
Great.
Have you seen Jack Black's YouTube?
Yes,
it's amazing.
Jambroskis or
him and his son play video games.
It's awesome. Yeah,
he had Tony Hawk on. He blows me away. He's one of those people.
It's awesome.
He's one of those people, he just feels like he's on a different planet. Like every time I see
100%.
I'm like, am I living in the same world that he lives in?
No,
Because he's
we're
just
not.
so. It's like, wow.
Right. No, like most California people are chill. He's on this other level that's way up here where he's just like, don't sweat the small stuff. Like,
and it's all small
he's
stuff.
He's just, yeah, it is. It really is.
It's totally true. I think what it is for me, though, is I grew up on the East Coast in the Northeast where, like, there was a very defined path. Like, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a good job, you get a wife, you get married, you have kids, you get 100%, retired.
Yes.
Like, it's just very lined up. And then I look at Jack Black, and he's like, I'm going to be in the greatest band of all time. I'm going to
100%.
write the best music of all time. And then at some point, he's like, and I'm going to become the best actor that I can possibly be. And I'm going to do
100%.
all of this the way I want to do it. Like, screw everybody else. And he's not mean about it.
Yep.
I mean, I've met plenty of people that are like, screw other people. And they literally mean, how do I screw other people? Either out of money or something else. You know what I mean? That's not what he means by it. He's like, I'm going to do me. I'm Jack Black.
Right. Of course. And when you look at Jack Black, he's not the stereotypic, like, movie star guy. No. He's not the comic guy. He's not the band guy that, like...
He doesn't fit any of the normal molds. It's not like
Jared
Leto.
No mold whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not like Jared Leto.
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny because I didn't know that Jared Leto was in a band. Like, I knew him as an actor.
You didn't?
No, and I didn't. Well, I've known for a while. But he was around as an actor for a good 5 or 10 years before I knew that he was in the band 30 Seconds to Mars. 30
Seconds to Mars, yeah.
I was like, and when I found out he was the lead singer, I was like, because most actors, I'll be honest, play guitar. Like, Depp, guitar.
Yeah.
Bacon, guitar. Bacon Brothers,
guitar.
2 guitarists singing folky songs. But Jared Leto's stuff is actually like real music.
And with his brother,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And his acting skills are awesome, except when he plays Joker. Hated his Joker.
I didn't mind. Yeah.
Did you like his Joker?
I didn't mind it. I just wish that there was they did a pre-movie where he was
there wasn't enough
more
meat.
Backstory.
Yeah, there wasn't enough meat
there was
on the
no
bone.
substance in it.
Yeah, there's no meat on the bone for the Joker in the movies that he plays the Joker. It's like, oh, he's got 2 lines? Let's get Leto. And then they did that twice. Right. And then they promised him a film. And because those films tanked, they were like, you're not going to be Joker now.
Also, I heard he was a dick on set. Like, he was a dick to everybody. And they were just like, no, we're not working with you again.
I only laugh because I look at him and I go, what a life. I saw him show up to a Met Gala. Okay. And he had what I call the David Lee Roth effect. He had a girl here and he had a girl here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't creepy old guys, especially in LA, always have 2 ladies. They're always and they normally have to wrangle them. Like, they have to have their arms around them. Otherwise, they're going to get away. Leto was the opposite. Leto was just his hands were down and he was just walking. And literally, the girls were on top of him. And I was just I was like, whoa. And I think his outfit was classic Leto, which was half a shirt and skin tight everything. And other women, I remember watching the shot on E! Entertainment when he walked across. First he had 2 women on him. They were furs. Wear women like furs, whatever. But every one of the entertainment show people, if they were heterosexual women or gay men, where they're holding the microphone, talking to somebody, and then they're just following Leto, all the way. Oh yeah, you were saying something?
You know who else has that same type of charisma that just gets whatever he wants? Russell Brand.
Yes.
Russell Brand.
Russell
he has
Brand.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
And
You know what
it's
movie
like,
he was in?
Get Me to the Greek?
No. The Saving Sarah Marshall one.
Yes, that was great.
Well, when I watched that though, the whole time I was like, is this actually Russell Brand's life that we're watching?
It is.
Because the way that movie
if you YouTube stuff, like he's doing interviews with like the like host that's a female, and he'll just hit on her, and she'll just be like, and it's
absolutely.
Like,
it's Russell Brand's world, and we just live in it. It's Jared Leto's world, and we just live in it.
Yes.
And Jack Black doesn't live in our world. He's in some other world.
No,
Love
Jack Black is...
I love all three of them, actually.
Too.
But I'll just be honest, like, what the fuck would I talk... Ooh, you gotta beep that. What would I talk to Russell Brand about? Like, I didn't have a heroin addiction. Like, Like, it's sort of like ODB. I always bring him up.
Yeah.
Because I'm amazed by his life, because I don't know if I've ever had anything... Like, 90% of things that happen in his life, I've never, ever experienced. I just haven't.
Right. Like, we would be like, I don't understand. You have a harem of girls.
Yes.
Like, just outside your apartment, waiting for you to walk out and even see you, like, a shadow of you.
Right.
You're like, I don't understand this. And that would be scary, by the way.
Yeah, the Beatles effect.
That'd be so scary. I would be so...
I agree. Like,
And it's...
You want that in the back of your head, and then it comes to the front of your head, and you're like, I don't want this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, maybe as, like, a teenager going into my early 20s, I would have been like, this is a great idea.
Right.
But now, no. Right. No, that scares me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
and you know...
Even...
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, even watching shows like Sister Wife, where the dude has more than one wife, I'm like, I can't. No. No. That is scary to me.
Okay, so
that concept.
This is my deal with Sister Wives. I actually get annoyed by that show because the wives can't have other husbands. Like, to me, if you're going to create a fair system, he can have wives.
I get it.
They can have husbands. Yep. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm cool with that. But the way that it's doctrine that men only can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wives, not cool with that.
Yeah.
Just not. It's not cool by me. But yeah, that whole concept just... And
well, here's my mind too. I love, like, just talking to one person, connecting with one person. If I have to do that like 3 other times, like the same night, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, I worked a full hard day. I can't. Hey,
Kimber J, how are you?
Yeah.
Good. No, I get that. That's hilarious on every level. I was actually going to bring up, I don't know if you saw this story recently, Billie Eilish, as you call her, Billie Eyelid. Isn't that right?
Eyelash.
Eyelash. That's it. Billie Eyelash. Yeah. So recently, they caught her wearing not baggy clothes.
Yep.
And they went off on her.
Wow.
And I was like,
wow, she has a body. Wow.
Right.
Everybody
My whole thing is this. Exactly. My whole thing is this. She's barely 18. And you're rude and ignorant to think that you have any rights to see her in any way that she doesn't want you to see her. You know what I mean? Paparazzis just get under my skin because they're taking pictures of people when they don't want pictures taken on purpose.
Of course, yes. 100%. They want to catch the weird moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what her comeback was to that, right?
She wrote a song, didn't she?
Well, she also had a statement that just says, I'm a girl, I have boobs, get over it. That was
Genius.
It.
Genius.
And then
the other thing that
she also, for like Vanity Fair, a couple years ago when she first arrived on the scene, They were like, "What if you could do anything for 10 minutes? What would it be?" She was like, "I like going poop. I just sit in the bathroom and just
that's
go
her
poop."
favorite thing. She will tell you.
Yeah.
That is her favorite thing. Period.
And I'm
Why
like,
not?
"You're a genius. Yeah, more of you in this world." Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Well, the thing is,
even though her vocal style drives me crazy, where it's just like, I want to kill you.
no, I get it. That ethereal style where it's like right on the edge of
creepy
sleeping.
whisper. Yeah.
No, I get it. Well,
I murdered your dad. I'm gonna kill you. Hey.
I do like the disjointed nature of that song, by the way. I've always loved the weird.
I do too.
It's very hypnotic. But I've never been a huge Bieber fan. Never. But I had huge respect for Bieber when he was like, I'm going to protect Billie Eilish as much as I can. Because he saw what they were doing to her, which was the exact same thing that they did to him.
Same thing.
And I was like, that's cool. That's really cool. I like it when a star that's a kid becomes an adult and is like, I'm doing what I'm going to. Like, the first time I saw Bieber get a tattoo, I was like, ooh. And then around the 13th time, I'm like, I get it now. This is how he transitions from being a kid to being a man. He gets all these tattoos because he can. Sort of like why I have long hair. Like, my mom always had my hair short. Like, we would go to the barber, or actually it was a hairstylist, and I'd be like, keep it as long as you can. And every time it would be like right there. Every time. So when I turned 18, I was like, I'm growing my hair. It's just the way it is. And my mom was just like, oh. I think if she hadn't tried as hard as she did, I probably wouldn't have gone the other way as much as I
get
did.
it. I totally get it. That's like people who push religion onto their kids and then they turn out not being religious. Like,
yeah, I've got a story I don't want to tell, and I'm not going to, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I went to an all-women's college. I went to an all-women's Catholic college. So I have at least one story about what you're talking about, but we're not going to get into it. But yeah,
no, we don't need to.
That's our Patreon account that will start in the future, and you can see all the inside tidbits. Just kidding, by the way. We will have a Patreon though. At some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, we should.
Okay. Yeah. Do I have another? I know you have another. I'm trying to think if I have, because you have a genre. I'm trying to think if there's a genre. Okay, I'll let you go, and I'll think about it.
Country music. All of it. Throw it all in one big old friggin' bucket and flush it down the toilet.
It's funny on every level. See, I am very, 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 very picky when it comes to country music. I don't like 90% of it. Maybe even 95. Maybe even 99. But
you know what?
Go ahead.
I don't care about your heartache and your truck. I don't care if your girlfriend left you. I don't care if you have a barbecue stain on your t-shirt. I don't care if you just found the best fishing hole ever. I don't even care if the devil went down to Georgia.
Okay, first of all,
I'm done.
I gotta stop you. Because I was born in Nashville. And number two, I live down the street from Johnny Cash. So, like, I gotta stop you. Like, I love The Man in Black. One of my favorite songs of all time is Hurt, his remake of the 9 Inch Nails song.
So let's put his newest music right before he died, when he started making remakes of rock songs, not on the country list, because those things rock.
I get it. Yeah. And it was also Rick Rubin produced. If anybody in the audience doesn't know who Rick Rubin is, he did Beastie Boys, he did Slayer, he did later in life, he did Johnny Cash's albums, and he also was the founder of Def Jam with why can't I remember his name? He's one of the
some dude.
I'm gonna have to Russell Simmons, who is brothers with Run DMC, one of the, I think it's Run, Reverend Run, I think, but they're brothers, and that's how Run DMC ended up on Def Jam, because they were brothers. But no, I get it. I'm with you. You're talking about twingity, twangity, twingity, and also modern
bluegrass.
country.
Yeah. Yep.
See,
all
I
that
like
stuff.
bluegrass, and I love. Here's something you're gonna find funny. I call it Appalachian Trail music. One of my favorite genres of all time. Do you actually know what I'm talking about?
I have
Like
no
Appalachian
freaking
Trail
idea.
music? It's probably it closest relative is bluegrass. But the way that I describe all not country western, all Appalachian Trail music is a band with everybody having an instrument that's not an instrument at all. So you've got washboards, you've got the one string
So you're
bass.
talking like we're going to Deliverance, where they're like, "Boy,
Yes.
you have a pretty mouth." Yeah.
Yes. But a ding,
Yeah,
ding,
okay.
ding, 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 ding. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. But there's something about Appalachian Trail music specifically that I've always just like it goes right to my DNA. Is there any music that you have like that you just hear it and you're like, oh, this is it. This is my music. Any genres or anything that are like that for you?
So I have music that puts me straight into like happy moods. I don't care
Yeah.
how depressing it is. So there's a band called Daughter, and they're from the UK.
Okay.
And every time I hear it, I am just like, I'm calm, I'm good.
I'm relaxed.
Like
even if they're
Bjork
talking
does
about
that
death.
to me. Yeah, I don't
I get
care
it.
how crazy Bjork is. Bjork does that to me. I could, if I want to go and paint something, I will put on Bjork, and I'll just be like, I'm here. I'm just in the moment. Yeah.
I'm pulling up a song. I'm going to play it for about 2 seconds. But
Okay.
this is what I consider. There's a band called Barton Hollow. They also remind me of this, which is they are modern versions of Appalachian Trail music, like the Descendants. You know what I mean? Like you've got Neanderthal, then you have Homo erectus or whatever. But this is the roots of this song are from Appalachian Trail music.
I got you.
And I'm only going to play it for 2 seconds because you know how stuff goes. Yep. Get me through this ad. As soon as the ad's over, skip the stupid ad.
I mean, that ad could sponsor us in the future, whatever it is. I don't care.
Yes, not
I
now.
want to.
Even if
I
it's
want to go
like-
over here and talk to Dan.
No.
Doing another part, and my
Stupid. I wanted the song. I did not want your interview. Stupid people. Hate when that happens.
Yeah, you know.
In constant sorrow.
Ugh. Wanted the actual song, not the remake from The Voice. Wow. Welcome to Google.
Oh,
So-
speaking of The Voice, I'm
It's
like,
back on.
I don't care.
That's funny. I just watched it today. That's why I laughed.
My God! So the original lineup, I like The Voice with the original freaking lineup with Christina. You had Blake Shelton, you had
Yes.
Adam,
Do you
and
have
then
the soggy
you had
bottom?
like CeeLo Green.
Sorry, that was me.
Like,
Go ahead. Yep.
yeah, it's
Yep,
okay.
the original 4.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great. But
Yep.
see, for me, every time they would all do a song together,
Yes.
and Blake Shelton came up, I'd be like, this freaking
Back to the
sucks.
country music thing.
Yeah,
And
like,
he's
this
won
just
like
sucks.
6-7 times.
100%.
I like how
but
he,
I'm like
I like how he did that. 7
6.
or 8, but I said 6 or 7. Here's
I'm just like, this sucks. Yeah, go ahead.
so here's the
Bottom
song.
boys performing Man of Constant Sorrow.
And it's the
I get it.
chorus that gets me every time.
That
This right here. Now that's country, in my opinion, but it reminds me
Yep.
of Appalachian Trail music because every
Gotcha.
instrument
Yeah.
could be like, I killed a possum and I pulled out the intestines. I put it on a wash barrel. I added a stick,
Yep.
and now I'm the bass player that leaves the band.
Yep. And then someone's doing some weird tap on the porch too, because they have to have
Yes.
tap shoes.
Yes.
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 I get it.
Absolutely. But
my
I get
guitar
where you're
with two
coming from.
strings.
I find country music songs, especially the modern women country music songs, hilarious. I'm gonna scratch your car. I'm gonna blow out your tires. I'm gonna shoot the thing you love the most, but not you.
Yeah. They're
You're like,
the
no.
Hayden Christensen of music genres. So
Funny on every level. Funny on every level. I do need to add that button. I do need to have a button on the lovely Xbox controller that's just pictures of him. Like I gotta go on one day and just have like a whole rotation. Because I know that it bothers you, but it makes me laugh because I get
funny.
it. Like I don't like the prequels. And I have to admit, Obi-Wan Kenobi I love. But not Anakin. Not old Anakin. Young Anakin annoyed me for a different reason. You actually like young Anakin.
Yeah,
We've had this discussion.
It was fine.
Before.
I'm like, why don't you just freaking keep that same actor? Like douchebags? Like stop.
Well, no. Time-wise, they couldn't have.
I know.
Okay.
But then they still had him as like, oh, you're still way younger than whatever her name was. That
Padme.
princess.
Padme.
Yeah,
Princess.
and I'm like, that doesn't work.
Princess Leia's mom.
Hotness.
Isn't that what you went by? Hey, you're Princess Leia's mom.
Yes, if not, I foresee the future.
Yes, exactly. Everybody will die.
Wait, I saw the future in 1984. Okay.
Exactly. Speaking of which, Back to the Future 35-year anniversary is coming up, and TNT's going to do like the Christmas story of it. You know how they do Christmas story all Christmas story day? They're going to do the same thing with Back to the Future 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I don't have cable.
I don't either. I do not dig it. I think we're getting close to the end of the show.
Yeah.
So
when we went to Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. You went away to Arkansas. Go ahead. Tell me what happened.
We stayed at a hotel that had cable.
Oh,
it was the worst experience of my life.
Was it the kids? Or was it you? Or was it both? Meaning, did the kids go, Dad, we need this?
It was just me and the girlfriend. We just went there. And it was like 9 o'clock at night. We got done with dinner. We got done, we went to a place and had some drinks. And then we just came back to the hotel room. And I'm like, let's see what's on TV. And it was seriously like direct TV. And all it was either like someone selling me something or someone preaching to me, which they're still selling me something because they're like,
so funny.
You too can go to heaven for the low cost of $19.95 because we need money. And it's like, nope. And then it was all these cooking things that are like, you buy this thing and you can make this food. And I don't care, Emerald Lagasse, just, God, I want to watch some type of freaking TV.
Well, it's funny that you should bring that up because Prime Day just happened. And they had 99-cent channels. You could get them for 2 months. You could get 10 different channels. And funny enough, we got like 3 or 4 because it's 99 cents. But in my stupid brain, I'm like, I'll get it next week. Like, what was I thinking? It's Prime Day special. Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
So there were a couple I was on the fence with. Like I think one of them was like the Shudder or something like that. It's one of the horror movie channels. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have Shudder. I only pay $4.99 a month. That's it.
But it was 99 cents. So a month. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it was a promo.
Yeah, I paid for the full year. Yeah.
Smart. It's just very smart.
Promo code shut in for the pandemic, by the way. It's still going.
Still going. Yeah. We'll put it up in the corner. It'll just say shut in. If you want to watch horror movies.
Like, seriously, it was like $34 for the whole year.
That's a great deal.
I love horror movies. Like, I can watch them, and I don't care how bad they are. I just watch them.
You're into it. Yeah. I get it. My thing is, I'm trying to think. I don't like horror movies enough. Like, I like them once in a while.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And my mistake is always either starting to read like Lovecraft at 8 at night or watching a horror movie starting at 10. And the reason I say 8 for Lovecraft is because I read slowly. So by around 10,
so
I'm scared out of my brain.
Let's play a game. Stump the tick.
Oh, okay. I'll press this one.
So
It is
The
now
tick.
time.
The tick.
It is
Go ahead.
the tick. So you know how Netflix, you can go there and there's like a couple actors that you see in almost everything.
Yes.
Or like you go to Amazon Prime, there's a couple actors that you see in almost everything.
All the time. I know the Hallmark ones, to be quite honest.
Yes. Where you're like, you're Dean Cain. Why are you back
Right.
again? Like, yeah. So who is the guy for Shudder?
Ooh, I like this. And I get to ask questions like I did with you, right?
Yes,
Now,
100%.
are they famous for television originally? Like, were they a TV
No.
actor? Okay.
They might have been a TV actor. I mean,
Well,
they've been around
no.
for a long time.
Right.
But
I was
they
just saying, like,
Started in movies.
you know how a lot of people become the thing for something, but they were well known for something else first. So a good example is, and sorry to derail yours, is Opie Cunningham's brother was actually famous before he was for Big Ben, for Gentle Ben. So his brother...
Gentle Ben. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Gentle Ben came out before Opie Cunningham, before he was in either of the things, and he was a huge star. But then his brother, who's Clint Howard, turned into Clint Howard. Like, have you seen Clint Howard?
Right.
He kind of
Oh,
looks crazy. But because he's Ron Howard's brother, he's in every Ron Howard film. And he's also in tons of other stuff. But he's not, like, that guy.
So
you know what I mean?
He's the reason, like, MTV had like an award that was like making fun of someone.
Yeah.
And
it became the Clint Howard
he
award,
won.
right?
Yeah,
Oh,
he won that
Yeah.
award, and Clint Howard, like, actually he took it as, I made it, and he made this big old awesome speech, and ever since
so
then,
cool.
it's like the Generation Award, or they call it something like that, where it's like they give honor to someone instead of making fun of someone,
right?
Because
it was
they
done
were
tongue in cheek. Yeah, like the what's that award show where you Razzies, the Razzies,
Yes.
where it's the
It
worst.
was just like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Clint Howard's
But
the
he
man.
won
I've
it.
always liked him.
And he gave an awesome speech, and he was
That's super
crying,
cool.
and he was like, "Thank you, like, oh my gosh, someone actually appreciates what I've done." And
That's
they
too
just
awesome.
changed it from then, and it's like
Okay,
the
so-
Decade Award or Generation Award.
Yeah. Okay, back to Shudder. Okay, not famous from
Yeah,
TV.
ask questions.
I will.
He was okay.
Now
he was in movies
Go ahead. Yeah.
where he was the star, making lots of freaking money.
Okay. Well, okay, wait. This is going to be a weird question. Was he in movies where he played a guy who made a lot of money? Or was he in a movies and he made a lot of money? Do you know what I mean? When you said that, it popped in my head weird.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Cool.
And he, for his, there was a time where it was just like he was the dude for everything.
Okay. Was he known for horror films? Or no?
No.
Okay. You know what name came into mind? My first guess is Dan Aykroyd.
No, but that would be awesome. I'd watch them all.
Okay.
Okay.
Vincent
I'm going to
Price
throw
is
something
dead.
out.
Go ahead.
One of his most famous movies is
Yes.
named after a state.
Oof. It's so funny because when you said that, Fargo came to mind. And I'm like, that's not a frickin' state, you moron.
No. That's okay.
Oh.
And the state was actually a person's name.
Ooh. State as a name. I know when you tell me, I'm going to be pissed. Okay, so. I'm throwing this out there. I know it's wrong. But I'm going to say
Yeah, go
Keanu
ahead.
Reeves. Keanu
Nope.
Reeves. Just because I
He
love Keanu Reeves.
also played in a movie where
Yes.
a plane crashed into a hotel in Vegas and demolished it.
Oh, I should know this now. This is the wrong guess. I'm going to guess Bruce Willis. I don't like that guess, by the way.
Nope.
Oh, man. Okay,
He
before you tell me the
once-
answer. Yeah, before you tell me the answer.
I'm
Is he a 70s actor, an 80s, 90s, 2000? Like, was there a decade that he dominated? Or was it...
when did he dominated 80s through 90s.
80s through 90s. Got so many actors rolling through my head right now. No,
Okay.
right.
He once escaped a famous prison.
Oh.
In a movie.
Oh. You know what funny is? I'm going to say
What?
Sean Connery. I know it's not right.
Oh, it's the other guy in the movie.
I know. That's why I said it. Oh, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Because my next thing was like, he once tried out for a role of Superman, and they didn't make the movie.
Oh. I don't know. I'm going to have to throw in the towel.
It's Nick Cage.
Oh.
Nicolas
what?
Cage.
I wouldn't have expected that. But he's big on Shudder?
Yeah, he has like the two Shudder made movies that they're really pushing.
Yeah.
Is
He's in both of them?
Like, he's in both of them, and he's fantastic. One of them, he almost got up for an Oscar. He was like really close to being voted in for it.
Wait, wonder if he has a piece of Shudder. Because I know Robert Rodriguez has a piece of his network, El Rey Network. He either owns all of it or owns a percentage of it. Because
I mean, it would be great because I know he came into like some money problems. So if he has a piece of Shudder, like he needs it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I get that. Speaking of which, have you ever watched El Rey, the network?
No.
El Rey Network's interesting. It reminds me of being like 12 or 13 again, because they play Chopsaki films. Okay. They play El Mariachi style movies and television shows. And then they also play a lot of stuff that you would have seen on what were called UHF networks back in the day. So that like Tarantino did it as well, meaning I think Tarantino has a network or is affiliated with a network, and they play a lot of like Five Fingers of Death, The Five Deadly Venoms, all of the classic Chopsaki Chinese films, in Hong Kong. And that's what's on El Rey. El Rey's got a lot of stuff like that, and that's also where you get the TV versions of Robert Rodriguez films. He has Dusk Till Dawn, the TV show.
Yeah, that was on Netflix for a little while, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. It was so hard for me to watch it.
The TV show?
It was so hard. The TV show.
I watched like half an episode. I'm on the same page.
The only thing that got me was Don Johnson, and I was like, "Yeah, you're cool.
I'm a fan.
I like your character."
Don Johnson.
And then after he's not in it, I'm just like, whatever.
It's funny because if you asked younger me about Don Johnson, I would have been go F yourself, because I did not like him during the Miami Vice days.
Miami Vice?
He used to annoy me.
Yeah.
But go to modern Don Johnson, where he's like the Southern country killer. Like, I don't know other words to use it. He plays like the plantation owner in a bunch of films, and he plays like the lead or head boss. He just has good roles, and he does a good job at them. So.
Yeah. I mean, I like that movie 10 Cup that he made. Where that was a good movie.
I don't think I've seen Tin Cup in a long time. See, that's the thing.
You played
I've seen almost every movie we bring up.
Cheech was in it. Yeah.
I love Cheech. Oh, did you see the TV show? Nash Bridges? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Cheech and Chong.
They have a TikTok.
They do? I got to get on that. Got to get on Cheech and Chong's TikTok.
It's great too, yeah. I'll send you it. Yeah. As soon as I saw like Cheech on it, I was like, yep, I'm following.
Cheech and Chong it's funny because Cheech and Chong always reminded me of Abbott and Costello because they did the same like vaudeville style stuff.
Right.
They always
Yeah.
had like sketches and songs and this
Yeah.
and that. It was a variety show. They were
Yes.
never just like one lane. Now their movies are stoner classics. I mean,
Well,
like,
yeah.
that's just what they are. And I find it funny that they were as far ahead as they were. Meaning, when I was a kid,
100%.
when I was a kid, Cheech and Chong, if you said you liked Cheech and Chong, that was probable cause for a cop to search you. I mean, I'm
Yes.
just saying, like, it's like a cop rolls up on you and says, do you like Cheech and Chong? Yeah.
Okay.
Hands against the wall.
Yep.
But I have to admit, cops didn't really roll people where I grew up because they never knew if they were rolling like the mayor's kid. And that always caused a problem. Like if they rolled the wrong person. And
I get it.
so they were very hesitant to do it. In fact, real quick minor story. We had a party when I was a kid, and it was called the Gummy Bear Blowout Blitz. We expected 12 people. 200 showed up.
Oh.
Now, the cops showed up, and this is the funniest part. I'm not going to name names, but there was a guy sitting on the couch. And the way the rules work is this. If a cop comes to the door and knocks, and you invite them in, they're allowed to come in. If you don't invite them in, they have to have a search warrant or probable cause, which they probably could have easily seen in the yard. I'm sure there were beer cans everywhere. Right. So they came walking up to the door, knocked on the door. There was a dude that hadn't drank anything, was perfectly fine. He was like, come on in. I was just like, really? And when the cops pulled up, it was literally like every single scene where you see roaches go in a million directions. And
I get it.
My friend lived in the woods. So everybody ran in different directions into the woods. I'm surprised nobody got killed. That would have been funny. That's a good combo film. The party horror slasher film, meaning it starts as a party, everybody runs away from the party, and it turns into a slasher film.
I get it. They live by Crystal Lake, so they have Jason. Like, yeah,
exactly.
You know, Snoop has to be in it. Snoop has to be in it.
Snoop's got to be in everything now. And if you're gonna have Snoop, you know who else has to be in it? Do you know? You're not gonna guess this. It's so random. Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart. Oh yeah, they have a TV show, don't they?
They have a ton of stuff, dude. They have a ton of stuff. Once she went to jail, her and Snoop became like that. It was weird to me. Like that. Like before it's like this, and then she goes to jail and it's like whoop, and now they have the same career almost. So funny.
Yep.
Anyway, I think we're at the end of the show.
I think so too. Yeah.
So what were you drinking today? I was drinking Arnold Palmer's and Coca-Cola. Anything special over there?
Target brand, which is Good and Gather mixed berry seltzer water. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Because it doesn't have sodium in it.
Yeah. I can't believe I was trying to not kill you by telling you not to drink that. I really thought it had sodium in it. I really did. But again,
when it first started, they did.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean,
I think like Perrier and stuff when they first started. Yeah. I mean, and everything's old news that we do on this show.
It's funny that you say that. Okay. Just another story real quick. I used to go to parties all the time. And I used to bring my own drink because a lot of the times you get to a party, if you don't want to drink alcohol, good luck. I mean, most parties I used to go to, it would be like 14 different bottles of stuff, cases of beer, but absolutely no mixers. So I used to bring Sprite. And unfortunately, nobody brought any mixers. So my Sprite would be gone like that. And it used to make me so angry. So I switched to Perrier. I can tell you, nobody wants Perrier. Nobody. I mean, you pull that bottle out, and people are like, ew.
Yeah. Right.
So, Pro tip, if you want to go to a party and keep your own drink and not have to give it to a million people, bring Perrier.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bring any seltzer alcohol.
That's what I was about to say.
Made.
You can have that all to yourself. Nobody wants it.
But you know what? They actually, that might go quick because someone will just take a drink out of it and set it down.
See, that's okay. It's funny you say that. I used to smoke cloves, Dejarum Blacks.
I got it.
To be exact.
Yeah.
And first of all, if you've never smoked a cigarette, modern American cigarettes burn fairly quickly. Dejarums became cigars because in America you can't have a flavored cigarette anymore. They used to be a flavored cigarette. They're a clove cigarette. Now they're a cigar. They burn so slow. It takes like 40 minutes to finish one clove cigarette or cigar.
Right.
Invariably, I'll be smoking it, or was, and somebody go, "Oh, reminds me of when I was a teenager in my emo and goth phase. Can I have one?" And I'd give it to them. 3 puffs later, they'd put it out. It used to drive me absolutely bonkers. I'm like, if you're going to take it, finish it. Or don't take it at all.
Yeah, I get it.
And exactly what you said, those seltzer waters would be littered everywhere.
They would be everywhere. Yeah.
I think that has to be a scene in the movie for sure. Just like a whole room full of different seltzers.
Everywhere.
And you bump into them and they all spilling everywhere.
I got it. I have it. I have the whole movie. It's the new Captain Planet movie.
The new Captain Planet movie. What does this mean?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Have you ever seen Captain Planet?
Is it that weird guy that's like got body makeup on?
Pollution down to zero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I do know the guy. He
always starts flying around.
Yes.
He starts flying around, and there's this party, and there's a whole bunch of cans everywhere, and people are drunk and they throw up everywhere. They're peeing on trees.
Of course.
They're smoking.
Everywhere.
And he just comes in and he starts killing them all. Like, because he gets so mad that there's trash everywhere.
Oh, that's hilarious. It took a dark turn, but I love it. Because that guy creeps me out anyway. So why doesn't he become a killer?
So there's this Funny or Die when they first started. Don Cheadle played stuff, Captain Planet.
Don Cheadle. I did see that.
Yeah. And he just gets so pissed off where he's like, F you, and everybody just dies. And it's so freaking funny. Yeah.
That is funny. The thing that always comes to mind whenever they're doing parodies, it's not actually a parody, but it is Wayne Brady on The Chappelle Show. Like, that is...
God, Wayne Brady is... He's...
Like, well, he's a comic genius.
Yeah,
he's he's musically talented too. Like, he's just
100%.
off the charts. But what I was saying though is, he has a TikTok too?
Yeah.
I used to like it when nobody had a TikTok. I think that's why I don't like TikTok as much anymore. But anyway, Wayne Brady, comic genius. And when he was on the Chappelle show, I could not stop laughing. Just could not. Like, the way they did it was just, it's classic. If you haven't seen it, look up Wayne Brady Chappelle Show. Funniest thing ever. Especially since I used to watch him on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Anyways.
All the time. Yeah. And he is such a consummate straight man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he was always like, oh, fudge. Oh, darn. You know what I mean? Like, that's the persona that he was doing on that show all the time. Right. And then when he was on, when he was slapping a bee on Chappelle, it's just, I couldn't,
you know, they could not make Chappelle Show now. They could not. It's no. Mm-mm.
But I do appreciate that Chappelle told him to go pound sand, because
I do too.
The corporate machine is exactly that. It's a machine.
Right.
And it doesn't care if you get eaten up and spit out. It just does not care.
Right.
And Chappelle is the prime example. So you and I both know the story, but for anybody who doesn't know the story, because it's actually an old story now, Dave Chappelle had a TV show and he did 2 seasons. That's it. And he was contractually obligated to finish those 2 seasons. At the end of the 2nd season, they were like, oh, okay, we're ready to sign you up. We'll give you $1 billion. Like, it wasn't $1 billion, but it was a huge amount.
Right.
He's like, no, thanks. And they're like, no. We'll give you anything you want. You get all the money you want. You can do anything you want. He's like, no. And they could not handle it at all. They literally took everything that was on the showroom floor, like things that had been, I'm not showroom floor, but the cutting room floor. They took everything that was on the cutting room floor and made a 3rd season or a 2.5 season. All the crap that Chappelle's like, this isn't good enough, they put it out anyway. And that is the definition of corporate money making. Like, they could not get it out of their mind that he would not work for huge amounts of money.
And then at the time, it was like he was the biggest like name on Comedy Central. Like, it was Dave Chappelle. Everybody was like, "Are you watching this?" And then there'd be music at the end where I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I never knew that this existed."
Right.
Like,
the funniest part
it was
go ahead.
Yeah. It was just so mind-blowing, like the things that he would do, and he was so above, like, before his time. Like, he played the head of a KKK, and he's of color. Right. And he's blind, and he doesn't know that he's a genius. Like,
and he had a partner. He had a partner during this, and this is something that everybody finds funny. It wasn't just Dave. It was Dave and his partner, and his partner's a white dude. You know what I mean? And that boggled a lot of people's minds. They're like, wait, what? I'm so confused. But the thing for me with Chappelle is he's stuck to his guns. He's like, F you. I'm going to go to Africa. And I get, you know what it is? The very first Chappelle show, I'm sure that the network had no confidence in it at all.
Right.
They're like, whatever. He might make, he get 5 people to watch it. By the 2nd or 3rd show, it was a runaway hit. I mean, it just was a hit. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, we're losing our mind. He's the best ever. This goes back to an earlier thing we were talking about, which is you go from being nobody to being the Beatles. You know what I mean? Because I would equate his level of fame at the time to what happened to the Beatles when they invaded America.
Right.
And I don't, like we were talking about, how the hell do you handle that? Like, how do you handle that?
You go make your own compound in, like, Idaho, like he did.
Well, 2 things. I don't think it's Idaho. I think he lives in Ohio.
Yeah, something like that.
But he left to Africa. Yeah. The news story was Dave Chappelle has mental breakdown and goes to Africa. It's more like Dave Chappelle can't be bothered by a million people constantly like throwing taglines at him. Could you imagine walking down the street and being Dave Chappelle during that time?
No.
I'm Rick James, bia.
Right.
But again, fame is a very weird thing. And I'm so glad that 10, 15 years that he was out of the game, that he came back in. Like, he came back.
He's great.
A year and a half, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, and
with some comedy specials, they're awesome.
They're off the chain, and his comedy is off the chain. So, anyway, let's wrap this show up.
Agree. Yep,
Professor, as always, great to see you, and roll the credits.
Oh my God, wasn't that a long show? Please like and subscribe, and for those of you listening on the podcast, thank you. Until next time, this has been another episode of the TP Show.
Because I was going to bring up food, but